Welcome to Brookings and the Missouri Valley Football Conference on Midco Sports. Huge matchup in the FCS today with South Dakota State getting set to take on North Dakota State in the Dakota marker matchup. Welcome in, Tom Neiman along with Curtis Riggs, and it is a glorious afternoon for a fantastic matchup here. 20th Dakota marker matchup. North Dakota State's won 10 of these. South Dakota State's won 9. The Jacks have kind of had the best of it in the last 5 games or so, but they're always great games. They're always close.
Always. Even if it gets to be a 2-digit deficit, they're coming back. The Jacks have done it up there. You got to throw the records out.
Yeah.
Everyone thinks this is going to be a gimme for SDSU this year. I guarantee North Dakota State's banking on starting a new season today.
Yeah, you talk about last year in Fargo. South Dakota State came back in the second half, won at 23-21. The last meeting, of course, was the national championship game in Frisco, Texas back in January. But 3 games to play here, Curtis, in the regular season. You start talking about playoffs, and this game probably more important today for North Dakota State.
For sure. I mean, they've struggled to get 4 consistent quarters from both sides of the ball. They can move the ball offensively, struggle to get it in the end zone, and then they struggle to get their defense off, which against a vaunted SDSU team, that could be a difficult task.
All right, going to be great as always. South Dakota State, North Dakota State. We'll get it going here from Dana J. Dykehouse Stadium in Brookings when we return. First, here is today's tailgate tip presented by South Dakota Beef.
Across the middle, Bellquist, touchdown!
Davis, first down, 40. Breaking it inside the 30-yard line. Still motoring, still on his feet, inside the 20. Welcome again to Brookings and Jackrabbit Football on Midco Sports, the Dakota Marker Showdown presented by Agtegra. South Dakota State, North Dakota State, this rivalry, this rock rivalry at least for the Dakota Marker Trophy goes back to 2004. And we will get it going here in a moment. Tom Neiman along with Curtis Riggs and the Midco Sports crew, and that includes down on the sideline Darren Wallace. Hi, Darren.
What's going on, Tom? I mean, of course, it's always an exciting matchup when these two teams link up, no matter what their record. SDSU and NDSU is a special game, but if you're maybe if you don't care too much about what's going on the field, well, there's an awesome new souvenir that you can take home with you today. The National Bobblehead Hall of Fame Museum unveiled an officially licensed limited edition bobblehead featuring the North Dakota State Bison mascot, Thunder, and the SDSU mascot, the Jackrabbit Jack. It's to commemorate the 115th meeting between these two teams. They've been matching up since 1903. Each one of these bobbleheads comes with a 1903 on the item to signify the first time these two teams ever met up. So if for some reason you don't care when these two teams hit the field, you'll have a nice brand new limited edition souvenir to take home to commemorate this special meeting between the two teams, Tom.
All right, thank you, Darren. Yeah, it just goes back forever in this series between these two squads, and since 2004, and maybe a little bit after that, North Dakota State on their fantastic run, their string of FCS National Championships. South Dakota State catches up, wins the Natty last year, Curtis, and now South Dakota State comes into this one 8-0 overall. North Dakota State 6-2, but as we said in the open, the rankings and those kind of things go out the window, and there's a little bit of separation coming into this game between these two squads in that respect, but this is going to be fantastic.
It is, and I think everyone looks at the scores of common opponents. I mean, we're so used to doing that, so people see the loss to USD, they see the loss to UND, and then they see what SDSU did to those two opponents, and they think this year's going to be different. It's not. I mean, we got 2 great teams, great programs, too much pride, and there is a lot of talent on this NDSU team.
Yeah, if you're into the transitive property, then South Dakota State looks really good coming into this game because of those 2 wins over South Dakota and North Dakota. Cam Miller brings out the Bison offense. He is the leader in the FCS division in completion percentage. He's also, by a slim margin, the leading rusher this year for North Dakota State. So here we go, and a fake right away as Miller delivers to Eli Green. who gets outside and picks up 10 plus on the opening play for the Bison, all the way out to about the 41-yard line, I believe.
Yeah, and a simple, easy throw. I mean, that's Tyler Roll, the offensive coordinator for NDSU. He wants to get Cam some simple, easy throws, get him in rhythm, and then a broken tackle in the open field.
Offense for the Bison. Joe Stuffle, the tight end, is back this week after not playing a week ago. He leads the team with 5 touchdown catches. Keep an eye on 0. Zach Mathis, 6'7" receiver, and Cam Miller using his feet again across midfield. They'll probably mark him down just shy of the 50, but he's going to get about 8 yards on the scramble.
You know, and he didn't just make anyone miss. He made Adam Bach miss. He put a great move on him there. That's the one thing I've noticed where Bach, since he's come back from injury, not quite moving as well. It seems like linemen are getting to him a little more than what they did in the past, and then that open field right there. Now, Cam is exceptional in the open field, but usually Bach is a very sure tackler.
Adam Bach missed 5 games this year. He did have 6 tackles last week in the win against South Dakota. Second and short here for the Bison, and Miller again, after a fake on the jet sweep action, will keep it. And it's a Bison first down to the South Dakota State 48-yard line.
Standing next to Miller down on the field before the game, it's a lot like what you feel like with Isaiah Davis. When you watch him on TV, you don't really comprehend how big and strong and physical Cam Miller is for a quarterback. It's the same Isaiah Davis. It's like, man, he is an NFL-sized running back. Cam Miller is an exceptional athlete, and they can use him in so many different ways with the run and pass.
Miller at 6'1", listed at 213 pounds, and this is his 45th game as the Bison quarterback. Already North Dakota State with a couple of first downs. Miller again, that play action. Jason Freeman up to make the stop after a short gain, and the completion there to T.K. Marshall, the running back.
Yeah, and open field tackle. I think that's going to be one of the bigger differences today is who tackles the best, who can get off the field, and that's usually to prevent long drives. Can you tackle?
2nd and 7 coming up for the Bison. Opening drive. Braylon Henderson down here to the left. A little bunch set for North Dakota State. And a give to the outside. Dyshawn Gales misses on the first attempt. And Raja Nelson is going to get to the 40-yard line where it will be 3rd and short.
Yeah, and right as we say that, right there, Gales misses that tackle. Would have been a loss. Instead, it's a gain of 8.
Right at the 40, South Dakota State. This run defense for the Jackrabbits, 6th in the FCS, giving up just 90 yards a game. And on the flip side, the Bison offense, top 5 in the nation, 254 yards a game on the ground. And Miller will keep it. He's got the first down, dives inside the 35, and the 3rd first down of the opening series here for North Dakota State.
Yeah, and Tyler Roll's doing a great job of just outnumbering SDSU. He's making sure that he freezes the linebackers for a second with the run fake, and then getting Cam Miller out in space to where he's going to win most matchups in a one-on-one situation. This is what they've done, though, is control, even the loss to USD. I mean, they dominated the time of possession. USD only ran 35 plays, but NDSU moved all over. They just couldn't get the ball in the end zone.
Coyotes had the Bison down 21-3 at halftime, and this is going to get blown dead. As a Jackrabbit, Quentin Hicks picked up the football, but it was blown dead before that. Yeah, the Coyotes got out ahead and hung on to beat North Dakota State in Fargo.
Full start. Offense, number 77, 5-yard penalty. It's still first down.
Brandon Westberg, the center. Call for the false start, moves it back to a 1st and 15 for the Bison. And it gets loud in here. It's going to be a sellout crowd again here. 19,000. It doesn't get dome loud, but it gets loud. And the first penalty of the game against North Dakota State. Miller up with 4 receivers along with Marshall beside him. And on 1st and 15, plenty of time again into a double coverage down on the sideline, and that is Zach Mathis, who is 6'7", and all of that.
Yeah, the problem, Miller stares him down, though. He just eyeballs him the whole way. So Tucker Large is able to get over there from his free safety spot and try to make a play on it. The ball just hung in the air forever, but you had Miller staring at it the whole time. I mean, that could have been a critical mistake for NDSU on this, what's been a really good drive so far.
Buys it again, picked up 3 first downs. The penalty sets him back into a 2nd and 15 situation now. South Dakota State with that 4-man rush. Plenty of room on that right side, though, this time for Tamarick Williams.
Yeah, that was blocked very well up front. Yeah, they got after the Jacks there. Now, the Jacks were sitting back with their linebackers, but the front 6 for NDSU were moving people there because he was 5-6 yards before he even got touched by a secondary person.
Jake Kubas, right guard on that right side, along with Gray Zabel, the young man from Pierre, South Dakota, on that right side of the offensive line for North Dakota State. But it is 3rd and 6 from the 30. Motion from Nelson. Miller trying to get a quick throw across the middle, and they going to get close, but a yard shy of the first down, right at the 25-yard line.
Yeah, and you got to expect a hurry up, 4th down, short yardage play here. Well, they're going to change personnel, but they're going to go a heavy package. That was what's just called a mesh route. They're bringing crossing routes from both sides, and they're able to run away from the man coverage there. Massive changes for SDSU, too.
Green made the grab, got to the 25. It's 4th and 1, and Hunter Brosio, Truman Weirmeyer, the fullbacks come in the heavy package. Miller, will he sneak or will he give? And they're going to throw it on 4th down, and catch made shy of the goal line, and that is Joe Stuffle on a 4th and 1 conversion.
Yeah, and it's done so well by Miller. It's not the fake. It's the getting back and letting the play progress and letting Stuffle beat the coverage downfield is where Miller played that so well. Most quarterbacks get too excited. I got to get rid of this. Throw it too fast and the tight end's not there. Miller did a great job right there.
Bison into the red zone to the 2-yard line. And again, that same heavy package. Fullbacks will split off now. 1st and goal. Miller with a lead block. He's going to get buried at about the 1-yard line. Ryan Van Marl and company over there to stop him, but it's 2nd and goal from the 1.
Yeah, and I think that's, what the Jacks were. Hey, I mean, that is a gutsy call on 4th and, less than half a yard even. I mean, most people were thinking it was probably the quarterback push, and I think the Jacks were expecting that also.
From the 1, Miller with TK Marshall alongside. Mathis and a couple of tight ends to the left, and they're going to throw a little inside tunnel to Zach Mathis, and a Bison touchdown.
Yeah, and NDSU brings in 2 tight ends. They had Carson Williams out there too. They just go a heavy package to get blockers in front of them, and it's pretty much let your defensive back get caught in the traffic, throw to your receiver, and let him just fall in for a yard. When you're 6'7", you're going to fall in for about 5 yards.
Touchdown confirmed good. Crosa on for the extra point. And that is the first miss of the season on a PAT for the Bison as the Jacks get a hand up and knock it down. NDSU right down the field, though. On a 75-yard scoring drive, 6-0 North Dakota State on the road.
Farmers Union Insurance. Simply different.
North Dakota State takes it right down the field. Opening drive, 12 plays, 75 yards. They get a Cam Miller to Zach Mathis touchdown throw, and Curtis, they got Miller out in space, and he did some damage with his legs before the touchdown pass.
Yeah, and that's where he's best. I mean, put him in that two-way option position, and really when he does that, tell him, unless your guy's wide open, use your legs. Keep us ahead in the chains. And here's the other thing that's huge about that drive, Tom. It's a big difference when you're playing in front of SDSU compared to when you're behind SDSU in the score. When SDSU gets the lead on you, they can just pummel you into the ground with that run game and that offensive line. When they get behind, it puts more pressure on them to have to maintain and keep up and maybe open the offense up a little bit more.
Ryan Van Marl did get the block on the extra point, so 6-0. And Ozick sends that one over the head of Amar Johnson. South Dakota State with its first possession when we return. 6-0 Bison early. North Dakota State, South Dakota State, it goes back 115 meetings all time. And the Bison with an advantage overall in the first matchup back in 1903. South Dakota State, though, has won the last 4. That includes 3 in the regular season and the championship game in Frisco, Texas back in January. Both teams over the last 2 decades have been nationally ranked coming into this one, and we shall see as it goes along as the Bison go right down the field in front of this sellout crowd and score on the opening drive. Mark Gronowski with Isaiah Davis behind him. Jacks from their own 25. Davis straight ahead with some room, trying to make a move, and he's knocked down after a gain of about 9 on the opening play for the Jackrabbits.
Well, and right away they pull Mason McCormick, and he kicks out the defensive end. Just a bread and butter play for the Jacks. It looked like Davis was going to get out in the open field, though, and he just misread what Jackson Yankee was going to do there.
Yeah, good play by Jaquise Alexander to bring him down. Gronowski on the season. He is the most efficient quarterback in the FCS coming into this game. There was a first down run for Davis right to the 35, but the Bison pile him up on this run. And Eli Mostart on the tackle.
Played very well by Mostart. He just fights the double team, continues to keep his, NDSU is one of those gap integrity type defenses. He was staying true to the coverage and the alignment, staying in his gap, not giving that up.
Second and 10. Zach Hines motions to the left side. Gronowski, quick throw. Jaden Yankee with the grab. He's knocked out at the 43 by Jaden Price.
Well, and you saw something that NDSU was doing there. They're still very much that Tampa 2 defense, but they play a lot of wrinkles off of it now. Tampa 2's evolved quite a bit over the years now, and they rolled their safety down. He was coming down into the box as soon as he saw Morgan lined up in a slot. So instead of staying back deep, he's going to creep up, not fearing Morgan going by him, and he's going to be more run support.
Sam Young, Cole Wisniewski, those safeties. Jackson, 3rd and short, and just enough for the first down. Davis got 2 yards to the 46. Jacks move the chains.
Whew, Sam Young, oh my goodness, he comes downhill. Yeah, and he's not wasting any time. He's doing what many, hey, eliminate space. That's the best way to tackle, and he eliminates space quickly there.
Amar Johnson comes in, motions out on 1st and 10. Jacks with a little bunch to the right side. Extra tight in there with Hines, who stays into block. Gronowski finds a wide open Jackson Yankee, who found a little spot between the corner and the safety.
Yeah, it was weird. There was the left side of the field was a decoy. Gronowski knew where he was going, but Jaden Yankee got tied up with the linebackers. I'm surprised there wasn't a penalty. But it's still an open Jackson wide in the void area there for a nice big window and an easy completion.
And beg your pardon on the catch. That was Graham Goring, his 6th catch of the year. Jacks from the Bison 40 on their opening drive. Amar Johnson, his first carry. Evan Burnson, good block to get him some room. Right at the 35-yard line.
Yeah, and then that's when you have those teams that, you know, they're going to slide or slam with the strength, the cutback lane, and it fits Johnson's strength. And we saw this the game up in Fargo where he really, his career took off at that point. He took over. Isaiah Davis was hurt, and he's the one that really brought him back into the game, and I thought won the game for him. It fits very well with what they do defensively, though, that cutback style.
Yeah, Marr had a big touchdown run, a couple of Hunter Dustman field goals in that second half last year in Fargo. Fake to Davis, plenty of time for Gronowski, and a man coming open behind the defense was Jackson Yankee, and it's incomplete.
Yeah, it was incomplete, and it looked like some incidental contact, but the official kind of got in the way. But nice job by Gronowski, throw into a spot, let him go get it. But you can't see if he grabs him or if they just run into each other.
Jacks take a shot on 2nd and 6.
Yeah, that back judge got caught kind of in the play there, though, too.
Johnson and Davis out there for South Dakota State. Johnson comes wide right. Davis back into the backfield. 3rd and 6. Give to Davis. Dancing a little bit. Gets a shove across the 30. And going to be maybe a yard short of the first down.
Well, McCormick there was giving him a good push to try to help get that.
That was Wisniewski. 31 came up, kind of redirected Davis. And it's 4th and less than a yard. Gronowski under center. Behind Gus Miller. Going to get a push from Zach Hines.
Yeah, one of the things that slowed this up, people are probably wondering, there was a lot of pushing and shoving at the end of the last play. So the 2 line judges come running in to try to get players separated. Well, then Gronowski had to wait for them to get back to their spots. So he's standing there waiting. Well, now everyone knows it's quarterback sneak. Element of surprise is gone.
From the Bison 28, Jackrabbit. First drive of the game, and again, Isaiah Davis. Behind Gronowski, Jackson Yankee motions in. Davis with plenty of room, trying to make a move at the 20, does inside the 10. Just shy of the touchdown as Wisniewski brings him down.
Wow, there was 3 great elements here. 1, massive hole. 2, a great crackback block by Jaden Yankee. 3, Isaiah Davis making the guy miss in space. That is where the element of great backs comes into play. And then a saving tackle.
Jacks want to go fast. They sneak again with Gronowski. And he's going to be just shy of the goal line.
I mean, they should be experts at this. I'm surprised, you know, Coach Rogers hasn't brought Goddard in for a clinic on how to effectively do that play.
For the Eagles now, right? Or running plays off of the
I saw that little power play, and it is a difficult thing to prepare for. And imagine being those interior O linemen and D linemen. Like, I mean, it's a massive scrum right on top of you.
Direct snap to Davis, and the Bison pile him up. They might have lost a little bit here, and it's going to be 3rd and goal.
Well, they were not faked at all, and he got popped by 3 guys. Yeah, what happens is they're pinching down, and Morgan can't. I mean, he has no chance to make the block there. They just pinch right into Davis.
Mostard in there. Javier Darrett, the nose guard. So now the Jacks will spread it out a touch here with the Yankee twins to the left. 3rd and goal. Davis on the keep, and he gets a block. This time from Mason McCormick. And a touchdown, South Dakota State, to tie it at 6.
Yeah, that's got to be a scary feeling for the quarterback, for standing there and waiting. Gronowski's standing there waiting, reading. Look at that. I mean, that's a long time to be standing. And then, yeah, look at McCormick. Oh, my goodness. You just love that. You know, the number one thing talking to opposing coaches in the Valley, what they all refer to when they talk about the Jacks, they talk about the super seniors on the offensive line. I mean, what a luxury the Jacks have having an offensive line like they do.
41 touchdowns for Isaiah Davis. He passes Pierre Strong Jr. on the all-time list. 7-6, South Dakota State. Welcome back. Our Renovo seeds for success for the game today, Curtis. And for the Bison, don't get behind schedule offensively.
Yeah, I mean, it's critical. We just saw offensively when they stay ahead, meaning first down, they get 3-4 yards. Second down, 3-4 yards. I mean, when they can play with that kind of tempo, they're going to get some chunk plays in there too. They're really good. Cam Miller, it's not all, hey, you got to make big passes for us. Really difficult to prepare for them. State, though, they've got to eliminate these penalties that they've been able to overcome them in previous games, but they got to get past that because eventually it's gonna hurt them, and they just want to play more effective. And you and I were talking, it's strange for a team like State that's coached by Jimmy Rogers, who you and I know very type A, to have penalties. It seems very much out of their norm.
Jacks had 13 penalties a couple of weeks ago at Southern Illinois. Got out of there with that 17-10 win. Had a couple of false starts early in the game in Vermillion last week, but so far so good on that opening drive for South Dakota State. And on the return for the Bison, out just across right to the 25-yard line. Raja Nelson on the return.
The other thing I've seen, though, the way the game's gone so far for the Jacks, you know, playing clean, but also tackling. I think that's going to be a huge thing for them, because whatever NDSU's game plan.
Face mask. Defense, number 31. It's a 15-yard penalty added to the end of the run. It's first down.
Yeah, right on cue. We talk about penalties here. We'll see, just grabs across right there. Yep. But also, the NDSU's game plan is clearly, let's get our skilled guys one-on-one situations out in space, and they've effectively been able to do that so far.
Cam Miller on that opening drive, 48 yards through the air, 18 on the ground, and all the way out to the 39-yard line to start this drive after the penalty on Jalen B. Lee. Give on first down is a little stack up there with Brian Williams, one of the Florida kids. He and Zach Wilson on this defensive line. Gain of about 3 for Williams.
Yeah, and the Jacks were not waiting on that one. They were coming downhill in a hurry there.
Marika Penu out of West Fargo Cheyenne High School is the running back. Will fake to him for Miller, and again he's got a decision to make. The Heron stays on his feet all the way inside the 45-yard line, and again South Dakota State cannot wrap him up. Needed 7 for the first down, and he got about 17.
Again, getting out of the pocket. I mean, effective, great athlete, easier decision making.
Miller takes it to the SDSU 43-yard line. Each team's had it once. Bison on their second drive, 7-6 South Dakota State on the Ag-Tegra scoreboard here in the Dakota Marker Showdown.
Welcome back to Brookings. South Dakota State leads the Bison 7-6 thanks to a blocked PAT. And as South Dakota State looks to continue their dominance and their winning streak against North Dakota State, they're also trying to extend their overall winning streak from 22 games to 23. Right now, they sit 8th all-time in FCS history as far as longest winning streaks go, and they're chasing North Dakota State, who holds 2 of the longest winning streaks in FCS history. They won 39 straight games from 2017 to 2020, and 32 straight games from 2012 to 2014. So South Dakota State looking to continue their historic run right now.
By Cade Tervier, and Miller had a long time to look downfield, and then Tervier caught up with him.
Yeah, I couldn't figure out if he was trying to see if Zach Mathis get across the field. Mathis, though, was just kind of gliding. Now, you know, 6'7", and you're gliding, you're still gaining a lot of yards, but I think he wanted to get over the top and try to hit Eli Green deep, and the coverage was just too good.
Tyler Terhark, another West Fargo kid, motions across. And they faked it to him after the give to Marshall, and the pile is still moving. They're going to mark it back about 5 yards from where that pile is at the 38-yard line.
Yeah, you see Gray Zabel, Pierce, South Dakota, offensive tackle there. You'll see him come in too, right there, 74, helping push the pile. He was heavily recruited by both these schools. Outstanding young man, and just a great pedigree in Pierre. There's one more still there that's a senior now.
Yeah, Jet still with the Governors. They've got a state championship game still coming up. On the ground again, and again some green grass to run in there for Tamarick Williams, but he is knocked down short, and it's going to be 4th and 2.
You're right, Tom. It looked like it was a big hole, and he was going to have a lot of yards, and then Jason Freeman comes in, boom, right there, and then holds on and lets his teammates. You got to rally. You got to tackle as a group. You can't just one guy. It's going to be difficult, so everyone's got to get there.
Marshall again on the carry there, excuse me, but still 4th and 2 at the SDSU 35-yard line. Miller stays in there. Have not seen Cole Payton yet, the other quarterback, and Miller, I think, just did get enough. He got hit right when he approached the line to gain, and I think Jared DePriest got a hit on him, but it's going to be a first down.
Yeah, you're right. Miller has been there the whole time, and we talk about how athletic he is. Cole Payton is really an athletic young man. He too, I was able to work with both of them this summer at Easton Sticks quarterback camp, and both of them, you could tell that NDSU's really looking for those athletic guys. They can get out of the pocket, can hurt you with their legs and throw.
Flag before the ball was snapped.
Play is on a further review.
Didn't look like it was that close, but they must have saw something. Something we're seeing a lot of, Tom, that both offenses do a great job of. A lot of motions, a lot of shifts, tight ends being utilized in receiver spots, and really puts a lot of stress on the defense.
Here's another look at the run by Miller, and
it
looked like he needed 2 and got 2.5, but
yeah, did his knee touch right there? Might be what they're looking at.
It looks like he gets the 32.5, which is where they marked it down.
Yeah, DePriest has him, but it's almost like he falls over DePriest.
Yeah, he's kind of laying.
Ooh, his left knee went down though right there. It's a tough one.
We talk about the motion and the things that NDSU is doing. That wasn't always the case.
Yeah.
After further review, the ruling on the field stands as called. It's first down.
I mean, years past, North Dakota State would line up and just power run at you.
Power. I mean,
time.
they perfected. The power used to always be an off-tackle play. You would have your guard blocked down, your tackle blocked down, and the backside guard would come around and wrap to get a linebacker. Now they developed, well, teams were overloading outside. Let's just run it right straight in the A-gap. And they would just line up and play smash-mouth football. You knew what was coming. You couldn't stop it.
First down confirmed. Miller with Penu behind him. Fake. Give. Coming around to this end and inside the 35. Little juke move and plenty for the first down, and then some by Eli Green.
And NDSU does a great job getting body on body here. You look, there's 3 defenders out there. Well, there's 3 blockers and then a 4th one coming along late. Really a well-designed play. You know when you're getting a hat on a hat, you're in a good situation.
Rajah Nelson got just enough of a jackrabbit there to spring Green and down to the 15-yard line. Bison again into the Agtegra red zone. Couple of tight ends move to that right side, and good yardage again on first down. Penu with the carry inside the 10. And you talk about third down conversion, you also talk about first down conversion. Curtis, you want 6 yards on first down.
Oh, if you get 6 yards, you're in an excellent position. Really, it's 3-4 yards, because you go 3 or 4 yards, now play action, because 3rd and 5 or 6, very manageable. 3rd and 8, 9, 10, now you're getting difficult situations. So you have second down to play with.
2nd and 5. Do whatever you want. Penu again. Alongside Miller. Dyshon Gales in coverage on Green and just a little bit out of his reach, and it's 3rd down.
Yeah, it was great coverage, but really a difficult route to read by Green. Was he running a fade? Was he running a corner route? I mean, it's tough to tell. Get him to the sideline and be like, hey, dude, give me a little clearer line of where I'm supposed to throw this ball here.
Yeah, you're looking at the back of Gales the whole time.
Yeah.
3rd down. Bison can get inside the 5 for a first down. To Merrick Williams, the running back. Stuffle and Strite flip to that left side, and now North Dakota State takes a timeout.
But it's just like we talked about, Tom. First down, they get 5 yards, maybe 6. Second down, they play action. 3rd down, now they feel like they can get it.
3rd and 5 coming up for the Bison.
This game on Midco Sports is presented by Sanford Health. Your best health starts with primary care.
Welcome back. Sellout crowd at Dana J. Dykhouse Stadium. The Dakota marker matchup, South Dakota State, North Dakota State. Bison on their 2nd drive of the game. They put together 2 outstanding drives. They converted a 4th down on both of them. Miller with that sneak to get the first down on this drive, and it's 3rd and 5 from just inside the 10-yard line. Jake Lippy motions to the left side. Miller had it on the hands of Rajah Nelson, but could not haul it in, and it's 4th down.
Yeah, he throws a catchable ball. It's going to be a tough catch, but it's right on his hands, and it's going to be one where you catch it and get tackled right away, but it would have been a first down.
You talk about red zone efficiency for both of these teams. They're outstanding. You get inside the 20-yard line, do you get points either by touchdown or field goal? North Dakota State, 95% scoring in the red zone. South Dakota State is 97% to lead the FCS. And Crosa with the field goal attempt is good. So points on the drive. And the Bison take a 9-7 lead with 10 minutes to go in the first half. Welcome back. 9-7 Bison on the Agtegra scoreboard. Bison have had the football twice. Drove the field for a touchdown and got to the 10-yard line of the Jacks on that last drive and get the field goal. Getting down to it in the Missouri Valley Football Conference. Just 2 more regular season games left after today. North Dakota State's got a tough road. They get Southern Illinois at home next week, and then NDSU finishes up at Northern Iowa in the last week of the regular season.
Yeah, and those definitely are not 2 gimmies. I mean, those are 2 also potential playoff teams. So they've got a difficult road ahead.
South Dakota State here today, and then at Youngstown State next week, and then the Jacks finish at home against Missouri State.
You know, though, I mean, those are two potential playoff teams also. It's kind of a muddied system there for those 5, 6, 7, 8 teams.
Mar Johnson takes the short kick, and he's going to get it to the 29-yard line. Mark Gronowski and the Jackrabbit offense coming back on the field with 10 minutes to go.
This game on Midco Sports is presented by Renovo Seed, simplifying forage, cover crop, and conservation seed choices.
South Dakota State will get the football for just the second time here in the opening half. 9-7 North Dakota State. Rematch of the FCS National Championship game back in January in Texas. Jacks won at 45-21. South Dakota State with almost the same team back this year. North Dakota State got hit a little bit by the transfer portal. Had a couple of fantastic, Michael Tutsi and James Kaiser with some great defensive players. They are gone. And so NDSU a little more different this season from a year ago than South Dakota State is. Mike Morgan motions in. Gronowski pulls it out and throws on first down. Jackson Yankee all the way down to the 40-yard line of North Dakota State. Jaden Price there defensively, but Yankee with the big grab.
Yeah, they do a great job here. The RPO and the linebackers attack hard, so Gronowski's got a free window to throw to Yankee, and a beautiful throw catch. I thought he was going to break that tackle there.
Jackson Yankee coming up on Josh Davis for second all-time at SDSU in catches. One more touchdown for Jackson Yankee will tie him with Cade Johnson for third all-time, and the Jacks all the way down to the 39-yard line. Fake again to Amar Johnson, and this is Jaden Yankee coming in from the other side.
Yeah, and it's just the same concept, just a different formation, different person. He's throwing to the slot receiver this time. But again, an RPO, and those linebackers for NDSU, I mean, they are attack, attack, attack.
Two quick hitters for the Jacks, move it down to the Bison 20-yard line. Jackson Yankee to the left. Angel Johnson is in and comes in motion for South Dakota State. Amar Johnson, the running back, and they give it to Amar, who scoots his way down inside the 15-yard line. That was a lot going on.
Yeah, boy, Angel had to run a long ways to be a decoy there. You saw Mason McCormick get around and was able to get downfield on Sam Young, the safety. He's got to love those matchups.
Yankee again left. Amar Johnson stays on as Hines and Morgan flip over. Jaden Yankee into the backfield. It's second and short. Amar Johnson trying to get a cut and did not get anything. Got knocked down again with Mostart on the tackle, along with Nick Kubitz, the linebacker.
Yeah, and NDSU did a nice job stringing that out. You see, people that are here can see it. Both teams, they change their defensive lines like it's line changes in hockey. I mean, you just see they rotate them constantly.
That was the North Dakota State model in all those championship years. South Dakota State emulated it, and the Jacks have done it as well. Third and call it 4. Gronowski had Yankee on a comebacker, but just out of his hands, and it's fourth down.
Yeah, and those are the most frustrating ones right there, because it's just a hitch route. Gronowski almost has to double clutch. The timing's off just a bit, but then he throws it just too far outside. Two senior players, that's one that, you know, they probably do it hundreds of times during the week, and it's one they should complete.
Hunter Dustman from 31.5 yards. Out of the hold of John Bell and knocks it through. Dustman puts South Dakota State back in the lead. A touchdown and a field goal apiece. It's 10-9 SDSU. Stats rankings this week with South Dakota State staying on top. Unanimous vote is the #1 team. You got Furman in South Carolina. Idaho with former SDSU offensive coordinator Jason Eck in third. Montana is 7-1. Montana State now has 2 losses, but the Bobcats still at #6. South Dakota, after that loss last week, fell to #9, but USD is leading Southern Illinois 7-0 in the third quarter right now.
Yeah, Montana beat Idaho. I mean, it's the top 10 so heavily populated with Missouri Valley and Big Sky teams.
North Dakota State is number 11 in that poll. Coach's poll is a little different. There are other polls to go by, but South Dakota State #1 until somebody knocks them off. 22 wins in a row for the Jackrabbits. Dustman will send this one out of the end zone. So, 2 possessions for each squad. 2 really good drives. The last 2 for either side have ended in a field goal. And now with 7 minutes to go in the opening half, can the Jackrabbit defense get a stop?
The similarities are so eerie because both ended up in 3rd and 5 situations in the red zone. Both are very good red zone teams. Both ended up having plays they should have probably, been successful. They ended up dropping them and had to resort to field goals. The Jacks are even scarier on red zone with touchdown efficiency.
They are, and both of these teams are top 2 in the country in 3rd down conversions.
Yeah.
For what that's worth, I guess.
That too. I mean, that's why you just are so surprised on a 3rd and 5 and a drop pass.
Gain of 2 on that first down run for the Bison. Aaron Wolfkill Holston in on the stop that time for the Jacks. Jacks are getting a couple more defensive linemen back into the fold here late in the season as well. Randy Camonnier might see some action as well. Miller with some pressure this time, and there's Wolfkill Holston. Miller apparently was not down. It's going to be an incomplete pass.
Oh. And it's a great job by Olston getting off of the block, because usually Miller could just take off. Like right here, he sees that window, he's gone. But you can see he closes that down, and wow, just about intercepted.
Jason Freeman coming up there for the Jacks. He had a pick almost similar to that in the national championship game. 3rd and 8 now for the Bison. Rajah Nelson up there wide left. Jason Freeman taking a peek. He's coming for the Jacks. Miller gets it out of there. And he just put it a touch too far for Eli Green.
Yeah, and as a coach, I'm, a veteran quarterback, I'm telling you, you got to make that throw. They gave him plenty of space to throw to towards the sideline. Just drifted a little shorter towards the sideline. It's okay if he goes out of bounds. Let him have a chance to catch it. Great effort, though.
And you make that sound like it's an easy thing, but that's the level. That's the level we're at.
Yeah, it is. You're exactly right. And the sad part is Tyler Roll, the OC, puts him in that position to be successful, and then you just count on the players to be able to execute.
First punt of the game. Tucker Large will get a chance at a return here. See if the Jacks can avoid a penalty as Large across the 50, the 40, and a flag does come in at the 35-yard line.
Seems like there is always a flag on a kick return, punt return. The more time there is for someone to block, it's going to be bad.
Got about 90% into that one.
Holding, return team number 46. It's a 10-yard penalty for the spot of the foul. It's 1st down.
Hey, by far, though, the most improved player. And I thought Tucker did a nice job last year, but he is a game changer this year. Defensively, special teams, he has had an outstanding season.
Well, at least the yardage was enough to make it a positive punt return.
Yeah, you're still on the other side. It's still a good deal, but you hate to lose anything.
From the Bison 46-yard line. Johnson and Davis split backs along Gronowski. Give to Isaiah, coming to the short part of the field, and not much there at all. Not even a yard for Davis on first down. The center, Gus Miller, all the way over there leading the block, but the Bison stack it up as Mostart was over there on the sideline as well, along with Wisniewski. Logan Coppin on that stop as well. We haven't talked much about number 43, but he's leads North Dakota State in tackles. Got a couple of interceptions on the season, and young linebacker. There he is, 43. No gain on the play for Davis. Yankee streaking out, and I don't think he caught that, as Gronowski had to get it up over the hands of Rokes.
Yeah, I mean, Rokes almost picks it off, and it just distracted Gronowski enough to where it's just a ugly pass getting out there.
All right, 3rd and 10 now. And again, this is the top team in the country converting on 3rd down at 60%, but 3rd and 10 is a different story. Gronowski's got a man, and he delivers. Jaden Yankee, touchdown.
Tom, it's the exact same play. Exact same play that NDSU did on 3rd down. Gronowski makes the throw. Now Yankee gets a little more open, but it's still a perfect throw with a defensive lineman right in his face. Watch right here, pressure in his face. Perfect throw, and then a great finish. Just a little juke, get in the end zone.
Jaden Yankee, 23 career touchdown grabs between the Yankee twins. 50 touchdown catches in their career for the 6-year guys from Madison, South Dakota. South Dakota State on 3rd and 10, the conversion and the touchdown. Mark Gronowski, can you explain efficiency to us as we take a look here at Gronowski and coming up on some of the all-time greats? Taryn Christian, Ted Wall at South Dakota State, but Gronowski 5th all-time in yards passing. And he's got a chance to jump up to number 3 in this game. Needs 170 to get up there behind Taryn Christian and Austin Sumner.
I mean, I see the amount of yards that Taryn Christian threw for, though.
11,000.
I mean, oh my goodness. Gosh, you know, no wonder Goddard and Winicky had successful post-college careers. They obviously weren't that good, and he just made them better. Yeah. Wow, they were fun though to watch when he was there. I mean, with his legs and then what they could do throwing the ball around. But Gronowski, you know, to think the Yankees, they weren't even sure if they wanted to play college football. In fact, when the academy, we tried, you know, they were talented high school players. They expressed to us that, you know, basketball is what we want to do. Yeah.
Gronowski at the end of this year is going to be in the top 3 with Christian and Sumner in most career categories.
What?
And you talk to players,
year, right?
He could play another year, yes.
Yeah.
But you talk about leadership gets thrown out there, but this guy has all the intangibles for leadership as well.
Yeah, he does. And, you know, of course, there will be the talk of, will he move up? Will he be done? Will he try to go to the NFL? What will be the options? That's for the end of the season, though.
First down, carry.
Fumble, I think, Tom.
For the Bison by Williams. Colby Herter came up and made the hit, and now South Dakota State yapping like they've got the football just outside the 30-yard line.
Boy, look at that umpire right in the mix of the players.
Well, Jackrabbits have it. And a bot coming up there. Isaiah Stallberg comes up with the football.
Yeah, Herter tackles him, but Bach comes in and does that punch. Punches the ball out. Watch, Herter's got him. Bach's going to come flying in right now. Boom, right there, strips it out. There he is. Good call. That's one that'll stand up too. He was not down.
12 forced turnovers in the last 5 for the Jacks. They are now +9 in turnover margin on the season. Stallbird had an interception last week against the Coyotes. So did Tucker Large, and the hit by Herder, the hit by Bach, the recovery by Stallbird. Jacks from just outside the Bison 31-yard line. Will they take a shot on first down? Gronowski snagged over the middle again by Jaden Yankee. About a 9-yard gain.
Yeah, no, great protection because Gronowski goes through the progression. He checks Davis in the flats, Yankee in the corner route, and then other Yankee coming across the field as his third read on the play.
South Dakota State just scored 2.5 minutes ago on the game clock. And now the first turnover of the game. 2nd and 2 for the Jackrabbits. Griffin Wilde out to the left. He will motion across. Get it to Yankee. Wilde out there trying to throw a block for him, and does. Yankee's still going. He got inside the 10-yard line at one point, and they're going to mark him about right there, but
the best part about this for Gronowski is these are easy throws and completions. You love that, where you can just make quick throw and get some good yards to keep the drive going.
The only thing that might have been close to touching the ground was his helmet when he bent over there, but they're going to put it down right at the 10-yard line. 1st and goal, back in the red zone for the Jacks. South Dakota State already 2 of 2 in the red zone. Both teams are, for that matter. Mike Morgan motions to that right side. Give it to Amar Johnson. Slips inside the 5-yard line.
Yeah, unique formation here by SDSU. They shift and flip the formation, and they overload and go unbalanced to the short side of the field. So NDSU still playing evenly to the wide side of the field. Well, now SDSU has NDSU outnumbered, and they're able to just run an off-tackle power play to that short side. That's what we talked earlier about, the shifts and motions, how heavily they're used by both teams.
Marcus Preston, the lone receiver. Zach Hines in motion. Give to Amar Johnson, and he is smacked down right away. Tackle made by Luke Wirtz for North Dakota State. Third and goal coming up.
Yeah, it's kind of an odd play. Garrett Greenfield comes flying in here like he thinks there's a fumble. Kind of ends up friendly fire, taking out Gus Miller a little bit there.
Jackrabbit offensive line has stayed healthy. These 5 have been the starters and have played 99% of the snaps for the most part for the Jacks.
Yeah, I think they're going to get a timeout here.
Gronowski going to come over and talk it over. Jimmy Rogers, the head coach, down on the field.
Yeah, and smartly he's saying, hey, let it run down as low as it can. Let's burn up as much clock as we can.
South Dakota State is their first of the half. It'll be 30 seconds in length.
Goes right down to 2 minutes, so it's going to be 3rd and goal from the 4-yard line. South Dakota State trying to open up a 2-score lead here. Coming up next Saturday, another rivalry game in the Dakotas. You got North Dakota at South Dakota, 1 o'clock Central Time next Saturday on Midco Sports and streaming on Midco Sports Plus. Both the Fighting Hawks and the Coyotes still in the conversation as we get here late into the season.
You know, they're both doing a great job, UND, USD, but look at it. I mean, SDSU, NDSU, when they transitioned and what they're doing now, it's just amazing.
3rd and goal. Gronowski was looking for Hines, couldn't quite get him, trying to come back to the back of the end zone and out of the reach of Jackson Yankee. And the field got short, and the Bison wrapped it up. Sam Young in coverage, and it's 4th down.
Yeah, and it was just good coverage. It's just difficult. You start to get so many bodies back there in the end zone. Plus, there's some pressure here. I thought there might be a holding call on Gus Miller there, but he kind of just lets the momentum take himself out of it. But tough window. Good throw by Gronowski, though. Only his guy has a chance to get it. No threat of a turnover in the end zone, which we saw against Southern Illinois.
It was a huge play in that game. You're right. Dustman on. Just made one here in the middle of this second quarter from further out. This one from about 21 yards is good. Dustman continues to knock him through, and it's 20-9. So the Jacks don't get 6 off the turnover, but get the field goal. And back-to-back-to-back scores now for South Dakota State. Yeah, always that conversation, Curtis, about how many Valley teams are going to get into the playoffs. It was only 3 last year.
What's the most
6
ever?
some
6?
years. And
has there been a 7? Has there ever been a 7?
I don't know for sure. I don't think so. But you would think it would be an easy 5, but it's just not. Once that committee gets together. And
it starts to get to where you're showing favoritism. But I think this year, I mean, there's very viable 6 for sure, I think. And, you know, could you make an argument for more just because some other conferences are down?
Dustman bangs it through. Just a minute 50 left now for the Bison. Minute 50 to go. And Cam Miller comes back out. And let's hear from our friends at Agtegra.
The word cooperative means working or acting together for a common purpose. At Agtegra Cooperative, we are dedicated to supporting our farmers, their families, and our communities for generations to come. Agtegra, inspiring the next generation of agricultural leaders.
Bison on first down. Little run knocked down short of the 25-yard line. It's Merrick Williams on the carry, Quentin Hicks, and Adam Bach in on the stop.
You know, really I mean, great job by the NDSU defense to get a stop and hold SDSU to a field goal off that turnover. Those are the pivotal plays that really bust open games, and NDSU defense was able to kind of maintain and just some leaking, not just huge gushing where the ship sinks.
Miller keeps. Bach tracking him down along with Tucker. Large gets to the 30-yard line. It'll be 3rd down.
Yeah, you know, that's what we saw, a lot of that those first couple drives, and it seems like they've kind of gotten away from that a little bit, of getting Miller out of the pocket and have that run pass option.
The Jacks were probably going to keep a little bit of a spy on him with a linebacker, a safety, and
you know, it's always easier to say than do, though. So you can have a guy that's assigned to it, but to actually follow through and make that tackle in space, that's not so easy. And you know, then when they throw in a pump fake and you got other guys crossing the field, it's tough.
You would think Bach would be good at it.
Yeah, he's the guy I definitely would want to have there. But your middle linebacker, he's got so many things coming at him.
Bach and Freeman and Stallbird in at the linebacker spots here on 3rd and 5 for the Bison. 5 wide, Miller. Tried to get a quick one. Jack's got a little penetration, but now on the run over the middle. There's Zach Mathis with the grab, and he spins back to the Bison 45, and that's where they will mark him down. You
know, when Miller, when he throws this, I thought, oh, he's just throwing it up to the big guy, but it goes to his waist. I mean, that's how tall he is. You know, look at that. But nice, you can tell he's got soft hands. Reaches out, grabs that ball. I'd maybe get rid of that spin move and just get some yards.
Mathis has been the main man. Those 7 catches in the national championship game. He had 7 in the marker game a year ago. He's got 3 touchdown catches so far this year. Miller again. Got it out of there, but not able to hang on was Stuffle. Clock stops, however.
Yeah, and it was really a good job by Miller. It looked like his running back was going to be wide open. Jason Freeman was just trying to bait him. Just trying to say, yeah, go ahead and make that throw. I'm going to get that one.
Jack's got a couple of defensive ends that like to get after it out there right now with Caden Johnson, 53, Zach Wilson, 95 on the other side. They've had a little pressure here on Miller.
Yeah, and the best part was the A-gap pressure. I mean, you get pressure in the A-gap in his face right away.
Safety valve grab by TK Marshall, who gets out with 19 seconds to play in the half.
Yeah, so now you're in that situation of, you know, let's try to see if we can get a field goal range. And we got some timeouts left still. We can throw in the middle of the field here.
Great kicker waiting on the sidelines for the Bison, and Crosa. Bison have a couple of timeouts. O-line again holds up nicely, and another completion to TK Marshall.
Yeah, and this is a tricky one. This is really good for State because he goes out just short, and it's 4th down now. So NDSU now has to, they've got to get the first down, which that means that's going to consume a little more time for the Jackrabbits. Yeah, and Coach Entz is thinking we got 2 timeouts. Let's go ahead and use one here and decide let's call multiple plays here.
The football is at the 46-yard line of South Dakota State. Griffin Crosa's long field goal this season is 47 yards. And you're going to need another almost 20 yards to get into that kind of range. 4th and 1. And again, we have still not seen Cole Payton for North Dakota State. We're going to check on that at halftime. Cam Miller's been out there quarterback the entire ball game. 4th and 1 out of the gun. The pistol at least for Miller. And he keeps it. He's got the first down, slides down at the 41, and they will get another timeout from there quickly with 9 seconds left.
Yeah, and a great decision to just get down quickly instead of just running and wasting time. Ooh, boy, this though.
Final of the half.
You know, that's where you got to have 2 plays ready. Now you're saying we're going to throw something that puts us in field goal range, and it's got to get out of bounds.
Probably need 10 yards to have a good shot at a field goal. North Dakota State got out to a 9-7 lead, scored on their first drives of the game. And then the Jackrabbits came back with a field goal to take the lead. They got a touchdown throw from Mark Gronowski to go up 17-9. And then a field goal off a turnover by Dustman to make it 20-9. So 9 seconds left.
Yep, and Jacks get the ball first coming out. So, you know, Bison, it's pivotal to get some points here.
Taking some time. Millers just might look into the end zone here. He's going to try to get to the sideline before the clock runs out. Steps out about the 32-yard line with 1 second left. Got the first down, but that's not what matters. And from here, it would be almost a 50-yard field goal try.
Yeah, you know, there's 2 ways to look at it. Great job getting us in a chance for a field goal, use all that time, or throw that up and give us one of our guys like our 6'7" guy a chance in the end zone, but still puts him in field goal range here.
Crosa from 50. Just got enough leg on it, but no good. It slides. And South Dakota State gets the stop, and as you said, the Jacks will have the football to start the second half.
that had the distance, just wide right. So, you know, looking at that, I mean, Miller, good choice, getting the yards and getting out of bounds. I think I would have still liked to see my chances of throwing it up to one of my big receivers.
Let's go to Jimmy Rogers with Darren.
Coach, they were able to move the ball a little bit on you that first half, and I know a lot of defenses emphasize bend, don't break. You were able to only allow them in the end zone one time. What needs to change in the second half defensively?
Yeah, we need to get off blocks, tackle in space, and relentlessly pursue the ball. Right now, we're not doing that, and that needs to change.
Offensively, you know, you guys have been able to, you know, you have a comfortable lead, but what needs to change offensively? How do you guys continue to put points on them? They're a physical team. How do you keep putting it on them and build that cushion here in the second half?
Yeah, I don't know if anything's comfortable about this. They're a good football team. We need to come out and execute.
All right, thank you, Coach. Back to you guys.
20-9 South Dakota State. Dyshawn Gales and the Jackrabbit defense doing the job after that opening touchdown drive by the Bison. And we will go back to halftime at our studio in Sioux Falls with David and Andre coming up.
Vance Thompson Vision halftime show on Midco Sports.
Good one in Brookings thus far. On your Agtegra scoreboard here at halftime, it is SDSU 20 and NDSU 9 in the 20th edition of the Dakota Marker Showdown. David Brown back with Andre Fields. Both teams in the first quarter only had one drive. It seemed like they wanted to be slow and methodical. But what was overall your biggest takeaway from the first 30 minutes?
I think in the first 30 minutes, defense was the biggest takeaway. Jacks kind of started similar to how they started in the USD game, where that first drive, it seemed as though NDSU was able to run the football kind of at will, and then they put a halt to it. On the other side of the ball, NDSU, they were in the red zone, and they were still able to force the Jacks into 2 field goals. So that's key. They didn't give up points. You imagine the score would be totally different had those been 7 instead of the 3. So both defenses got something that they can hang their hat on. We'll see which defense comes out and performs best in the third quarter.
It is 20-9 at halftime. The Jacks will get the ball to start the second half. Well, Deion Sanders is the talk of college football right now, but he had an old quote back in the day, which is, you look good, you feel good.
Oh, yeah.
Like you, Andre.
Oh,
you play
Absolutely.
good. And the guy who makes the Jackrabbits play good and look good every week is their equipment manager, Aaron Kroll. And so we took you behind the scenes to see what he goes through during a game week. And this is a sneak peek at a Midco Sports Magazine feature you'll see next week.
So I'm Aaron Kroll. I'm the head equipment manager for the football team here. Kind of just manage all their equipment, all the gear. So these are our coaches' headsets, whether it's t-shirts, jerseys, helmets, shoulder pads, to cleats, to practice setup. Just about anything gear-wise that the staff needs, players need. Looks good. Feel good? Yeah. Okay, cool. The week leading up to the game, I sound muffled. It's a lot of, how about now? A lot of just moving parts and trying to knock stuff out as we can. So we've got practice each day, and so we're trying to accomplish our tasks behind that. So we're still recovering from games from the past Saturday. If we're on an away game, we unload the truck as soon as it gets back on Saturday. We'll drive it straight through the night, however we need to get through to get it back here. We'll unload. I'll start washing the jerseys and stuff immediately, so any stains that set in, anything like that from the game, we can get those out immediately. And then Sunday, more laundry, double checking the uniforms in case the wash didn't take out any stains, anything like that. And then on Monday, we are just trying to get stuff organized again, trying to make sure we're planning for what uniforms we're gonna wear for that week. I'll ask our captains pretty much each Monday what uniform combo they'd like to go with. For the most part, they get a pick. Per NCAA rules, we have to wear darker colors at home, lighter colors away. So we kind of know the jersey color already, but they get to pick really now what helmets they want, what pants they want. So we can at least start to prep the jerseys before we find out the full combo. For a season, we're dealing with 3. So we have our blue, our white, and then our black uniforms as well. You know, my biggest thing is trying to make sure that we're keeping them looking nice and fresh each week, because personally, me, I love these uniforms. I love the look of them, and I love the style and the design. And so I'm hoping that they last us quite a few years. So I always want to make sure that I'm being diligent in taking care of them, you know, sewing up any holes, anything like that, making sure we get stains out of them so they can last us quite a while. So this, I'm just taking off a layer of shaving cream. So I put the shaving cream on. It helps kind of bring out the orange dye in the football, so we can help get it darkened up a little bit. And then I'll hit it with a brush just a little bit here, one of the Wilson brushes. Just making sure we get all 4 panels. Trying to bring out that pebble grain as well. That's the texture of the football. Don't want it to be too pronounced, but want it to be able to get enough to where you can get your fingers on it and get a good grip on it. So this is muddying up the football. It's going to help soften up that leather, and this is what's going to make it that dark color that you see. That helps give it a little bit more texture to it too, because out of the package, they're pretty slick. They have the layer of wax on them, and that's kind of this whole process, is give it a little bit of grip on it so quarterbacks can really throw it and wide receivers can have a good time catching it too. It's quite interesting to see, you know, kind of everyone's different footballs and their different techniques, because like I said, everyone's got a little something different they do that they have perfected over the years. I think that one is good to go. So the uniforms are kind of there since I've been there. Something that I like is the helmet history. Helmets are always, you know, probably one of the more fun parts of the game, and about equipment and everything. So I think it's so much fun to keep a running history of what all's happened before, and, you know, as you continue to build upon it, what all you continue to do. And something that I think is just a lot of fun to try to piece together and work on and see how helmets have evolved, and also how logos have evolved and have gone throughout the ages, and just seeing what is worn in the past and what'll, you know, how it'll continue in the future. We have a really good resource called helmethistory.com. The owner of the website does a really good job of keeping updated anytime someone puts out a new helmet, anytime keeping that stuff updated, keeping the history updated. But even then, like, some of the stuff goes so far back that it's tough to tell. Trying to find pictures from back then is very tough. And then also a lot of them are black and white. You know, we have a good sense of what color it might be because they're a little bit lighter on the helmet, so we're figuring it's probably a white, or, you know, even maybe like a light yellow, but probably not. So I've been going back and trying to piece together stuff, because we still have quite a bit of gaps that we're not sure what helmets were worn, what decals were worn. And so trying to kind of piece it all together is a lot of the fun too. And something that I really enjoy, because I'm digging through our SDSU archives and, you know, finding old football programs. I'm going to be partial to the black helmets, just because that was something that my staff and I got to play a big part in, that we worked so hard for, that we just worked our tails off to get done. And so that's always going to have a special place in my heart. But we have quite a few from the past that I think are really interesting. I love the old block SD on the side. There was one, I forget what years it was, maybe in the 80s. It was like almost like a black circle, and then an SD with the jacks that kind of came down underneath. Right there was the jacks, and the SD kind of stuck up over this black circle. That's one that always sticks out to me that I really liked. And then the white helmets, obviously, the white helmets, you know, that's one that's a fan favorite, another one that just looks so good out there too. And it was so much fun to see, like, whenever we were in Frisco and getting that huge game, that primetime game, seeing the responses on Twitter and people being like, oh, this is a top 10 helmet in college football. That just meant so much to me and my staff, and I know, like, the JFPA, like, I meant so much to them, seeing people excited for it and really appreciating that. Getting to interact with these guys is always just so much fun, and just makes me feel happy, and like, you know, like we're a part of something so much bigger than, you know, ourselves. And I just love that. It just makes me happy to be here, and it's just so much fun getting to do all this fun stuff.
Well, pretty cool to see how they go through the process each week, and thanks to Aaron for giving us a behind-the-scenes look at things up in Brookings. But you see, you know, for you know, uniform aficionados, helmet aficionados, there's that, but also, you know, the shaving cream and the mud on the ball. You got to have a certain grip on the ball, don't you?
You do, and it's very, very important that they take care of all of those things. So much respect to those guys, because they keep the guys on the field not only looking good, not only playing good, but making sure that everything is in order so that it all works good.
Absolutely. And Aaron's story can be seen next week on an all-new edition of Midco Sports Magazine. It airs every Monday or every other Monday, a brand new episode at 6:30 p.m. right here on Midco Sports. It's the best sports storytelling in the region. The pride is on the field. Great halftime show as always. We'll be back with your first half stats and the highlights after this on the Vance Thompson Vision Halftime Show on Midco Sports. Halftime in Brookings on the Ag-Tegra scoreboard. South Dakota State with a 20-9 lead over North Dakota State in the annual Dakota Marker Showdown. David Brown, Andre Fields. Both these teams got touchdowns on their first possessions of the ball game, respectively. But then you saw NDSU make a couple of mistakes there in the second quarter. They had a 3-and-out, they had a fumble, end the half on a missed field goal. And in a game like this, other teams will take advantage of those. That's why SDSU's built this halftime lead.
Agreed. And SDSU is so good at taking advantage of your mistakes or just, again, adjusting and then implying their will, that's just exactly what they did. They took those mistakes. They got points out of it. Even though it was only 3 and not 7, they still got points out of it and created this lead.
That's going to look at your first half highlights. They are brought to you by Avera Orthopedics. NDSU's first drive of the game. This was a great play on 4th and short. They faked the sneak. Joe Stuffle wide open down inside the 5-yard line. Eventually a touchdown pass to Zach Mathis. 7-0, and it was a drive on the opening drive that took more than 7 minutes off the clock. But SDSU, as they have done all season long, they respond with an efficient drive of their own, Andre.
They do, and they come back both run and pass. Look at the holes here that Isaiah Davis has to run through. You give him that kind of space, he's going to make you pay for it.
And he is marked short there, but he would eventually get the touchdown on this play, and they make the extra point. NDSU was blocked, so it's 7-6 Jackrabbits after the first quarter. In the second, Jaden Yankee. Both Yankees did great, but it was Jaden who was really explosive.
You know, and I thought this would be a matchup to watch, Price versus Yankee, but in that first half, Yankee had the best of Price.
He gets the touchdown here. That increased SDSU's lead to 17-9 after they exchanged field goals. And then the defense took over. They recovered the fumble here from Tamarick Williams, and that turnover came after an NDSU 3-and-out. So 2 straight possessions where the Bison end up empty-handed. But give credit to the NDSU defense. They held the Jacks to a couple of field goals. We mentioned the red zone offense. It's mainly touchdowns. So holding them to 3 instead of 7, considering how prolific SDSU is in the red zone, a semi-victory for the Bison, who could be down by a 28-9 margin instead of a 20-9 margin. Your first half overall numbers, you see the passing and the rushing. Obviously, NDSU doing a little bit better on the ground, but something you pointed out during the commercial break, Cam Miller was so effective in that QB run on that first drive, hasn't really done a lot since.
Yeah, the defense has obviously stepped up and started to either focus on him or taking that away. You can maybe even say, okay, because of the scoring margin that they've gotten away from some of that, but they're going to definitely need to establish the run again if they want to get back into this ball game.
20-9 is your halftime score. Our Vance Thompson vision fields a vision for the quarterbacks in this ball game. Cam Miller, he came in 76% of his throws, but he's barely above 50% in this first half.
And this is where we expected those throws to be made, kind of behind the line of scrimmage, really just quick and easy throws to make sure that he's efficient and make sure that the ball is not in harm's way. But they're going to have to take a few more shots, maybe on those outside edges, if they want to keep the defense of the Jacks honest.
Yeah, he's got a couple of deep shots down the middle, but there was that one 3rd down to Eli Green that he overthrew, and that cost NDSU in the first half. Your field of vision for Mark Gronowski doing a little bit better. Again, that intermediate area, his bread and butter.
Yeah, and this is telling you that they've found that window that's behind the linebackers and in front of the safeties, and they're taking advantage of the middle of the field. If you're in man-to-man, the middle of the field is the problem. So they need to stop that middle of the field play if you're NDSU, if you want to limit Gronowski's efficiency.
And of course, that 1-for-1 in the deep right corner was the touchdown pass to Jaden Yankee. When we come back, we'll get a look at some other scores from around the Missouri Valley after this.
Welcome back to the Dakota Marker matchup presented by Agtegra. North Dakota State, South Dakota State set for the third quarter. Jackrabbits with 3 straight scores to end the first half to grab a 20-9 lead. And South Dakota State will get it first here in the third. Amar Johnson will watch that sail over his head. Jacks will have it at the 25-yard line. And, you know, when North Dakota State got ahead, you mentioned you need to get ahead of the Jackrabbits, but South Dakota State has responded.
Yeah, and I'd be remiss, I should say, you get ahead, but then keep the pressure on them. You know, maybe not always score, but always good drives, maybe field goals. But you're right, the Jacks were able to fumble. I mean, they were able to get a stop, and this is where they're most dangerous, when they're playing with a lead like this.
Gronowski, that one touchdown throw to Jaden Yankee in the opening half. Jackson Yankee motions across, and Isaiah Davis will get a fake on the first carry. Gronowski just going to sail this one to the sideline as he is taken down, and a flag at the end of the play. Jake Cava Came down on top of Gronowski.
Well, and I think part of it, too, is the official saying, hey, you knew he was throwing it away. Like, you didn't need to continue after that.
Defense number 54, 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
We get a look at the pursuit here. And yeah, I don't know.
I'll tell you, Tom, you know, being a quarterback, watching games now, you always think there's a pass interference call anytime there's a ball downfield. You always think there's a flag on a kickoff return and a punt return. And then playing DB and D-line with quarterbacks, two toughest positions, I think.
All the way out to the 40-yard line. And a give this time to Davis. McCormick out there with a block. Davis across the 40, and he skips his way inside the 45. Sam Young caught up with him, but Davis rips off his biggest run.
Watch McCormick come around. He's looking for a linebacker, and then he's like, oh, there's a defensive back out here. He doesn't want any piece of me. And Davis just gets lost behind McCormick. No one can see him. And then he bursts out of there.
McCormick has been the offensive lineman of the week in the Missouri Valley. Evan Burnson right next to him. On the other side, number 61 was the old lineman of the week in the Valley last week. Jack's quickly inside the 35-yard line. Davis cuts it back and doesn't get a lot of contact till he's about 8 yards down the field. He's inside the 25-yard line.
Oof. This is a really good cut. I mean, he looks like he's going play side, and then boom, look at that. Makes that first guy miss, and shoulders are square. When he's going through that line of scrimmage, he's got those shoulders square so he can absorb the hits and fall forward.
And you see that blocking, the wash of blue, and you're just kind of waiting for that, right?
Yeah, and that's why I said Amar Johnson is so good for this style too, because that defensive line is going to slant, and you can just wash him down, and a cutback running back will be successful.
Couple of big hitters for the Jacks. Davis this time, though, is tripped up, and that was Logan Kopp, the linebacker we talked about in the opening half.
You're right. I mean, Logan Kopp, this is all him. I mean, he shoots like a missile through that gap. He doesn't even give the offensive line a chance to get to him. And Kopp's in the backfield to meet him.
Sophomore linebacker, again, leads the Bison in tackles this season.
You know, one thing, looking at their roster, though, Tom, not as many South Dakota kids as what you used to see in the past. It used to be heavily, I mean, a lot of South Dakota kids in there.
Yeah, Gray Zabel, the one standout from South Dakota playing for the Bison. Davis got just enough for the first down, and again, Kopp was in on the tackle. Mason McCormick gets tangled up with Nick Kubitz, as he does.
Just watch him. He buries him, finishes him, and then he lays on him. You know, those are the luxuries when you have sixth-year offensive linemen. They know how to play the games.
McCormick and Garrett Greenfield both came back for year number 6 this year to try to make another run at the Natty. Gronowski slinging it, and there is Wilde with his first catch of the game. Griffin Wilde, the freshman from Sioux Falls.
Yeah, look at the pressure in his face when he gets rid of that. He knows exactly where to go. I thought they got away with one hitting him out of bounds there. Ooh, boy. That's, I mean, a yard and a half out of there. There's no pity for a freshman, I guess, huh?
You don't get that call.
Yeah.
Wilde with the grab to get the Jacks back into the red zone, just outside the 5-yard line. Flip to Yonke. Mike Morgan with the block out in front. Yonke spins his way in for the touchdown. Second of the day for Jaden Yonke.
I mean, you just forget how big and fast Jaden Yonke is, because it looked like, from our perspective, he should have kept going outside and just followed Morgan and get to the pylon. But that's the thing. Yonke can absorb those hits and run through arm tackles, and he sees an opening. I got to take it, fellas. And then follows Hines you know, what a you know, luxury with Hines and Morgan. I mean, two great blocking tight ends.
Kevin Brenner has turned into a blocking tight end. They moved Quentin Christensen, one of the old linemen, to a tight end this year. And those were the guys leading the way for Yankee, and the Jacks take it right down the field to start the second half. 27-9 South Dakota State on the Yankee touchdown.
Welcome back to Brookings. The Jackrabbits lead the Bison 27-9 here in the third quarter. And one of the elements for North Dakota State's offense has been their two-quarterback system that they employed earlier in the season. Cam Miller has had an all-conference worthy season, but one of their quote-unquote running quarterback, Cole Payton, he was featured very early and often in the offense. He rushed for 206 yards across in the first two games, but in the past 6 games, Cole Payton has just 94 yards on 27 carries, and in the last 2 games, he's rushed for -4 yards. It seems to be just the Cam Miller show the past 6 games of the season. So if the Bison want to get cooking on offense, they might need to look to employ that two-quarterback system that worked for them early on in the year.
All right, thank you, Darren. Yeah, Peyton right there standing. He's number 9, standing behind Cam Miller. He's dressed, he's here, he's ready to go if they want to use him.
You know, I think one big difference, though, is you got a senior and a sophomore. And I think right now, woo, you talk about some guys flying down to hit that wall. Uh-oh.
Nelson angling inside the 40. Tucker Large trying to run him down, and he'll finally get a little help. No flags as Raja Nelson takes it to the Jackrabbit 20-yard line.
This is an unbelievable coaching point, though, for young athletes. You watch Tucker Large. He never runs at the ball carrier. Watch, he starts angling right away, and he's running to the point where he can meet him, not at him, and that's what saves that right there. Unbelievable job by Tucker Large.
So Large, for the moment, keeps the Bison at bay, but they've got it at the 20-yard line. And Cam Miller and the Bison offense trying to get back on track. They scored on the opening drive. A touchdown pass to Zach Mathis, and then took it right down the field again and got a field goal, but have not scored since. Adam Bach in on this stop.
You know, we were talking about the two quarterbacks too. I think when you're struggling sometimes to maybe finish games, to maybe get the ball in the end zone, you look at, hey, we need some continuity. We need the plays called the same way. We need the cadence the same. And you look to maybe that senior leadership at that point. Now, I know Peyton, he's a very good leader also, and also a fine young man. But you kind of don't want to be changing things up all the time to create any other confusion.
So it's been Miller all the way. Lots of misdirection in the backfield, but Jason Freeman makes the stop on the carry by Nelson, and no gain on the play. Jacks will get an injury timeout. Quick break. 3rd and long coming up for the Bison when we come back.
This game on Midco Sports is presented by Farmers Union Insurance. Simply different.
Who will raise the rock is the question in the Dakota Marker Showdown. The marker, a replica of the original granite stone markers that mark the border between North Dakota and South Dakota. This marker matchup's been going for 20 years now. North Dakota State has won 10 times. South Dakota State has won 9 in this matchup, including the last 3. 3rd and 10, though, for Cam Miller after that great punt or kickoff return by Nelson. Bison have gone nowhere on the first couple of plays. Crowd getting loud, and South Dakota State takes the timeout.
Well, and Coach Rogers, you could see the confusion. Tucker Large, Adam Bach, Williams. I mean, they just weren't on the same page. And Rogers is like, instead of watching this and then the chances of us making a mistake are pretty high, let's make sure we're all on the same page. This is a big third down for them.
Ryan Van Marl, by the way, was the injured Jackrabbit before that quick timeout. He got up, walked off the field. Jacks with what they call their first four defensive linemen out there right now. Hicks and Tervier, DePriest and Brian Williams. So back now to 3rd and 10. North Dakota State switches up the formation. Eli Green back into the slot. Miller trying to communicate up front. 3rd and long. Jacks don't get home, and the throw is into some heavy traffic. Jason Freeman had a swipe at it.
Yeah, and Tucker Large stayed right there. He had his eyes on Miller the whole time. Miller was trying to look him off, and Large would not bite. He was trying to get him to jump the corner route and let the seam right up the middle develop, and Tucker just stayed right there.
38-yard attempt for Crosa. Jacks again. They got the point after blocked in the opening quarter, and they blocked the field goal attempt here, and SDSU jumps on it out across the 35.
And I think it's DePriest. I think DePriest was able to kind of wedge his way into A-gap, and get his big paw up there and get the ball. Yeah, look at him, half the body through. Yeah, and he got it. Nice job.
There are just no heroes on that offensive or that defensive line. Cade Trevier's having a great year. He's got the numbers.
I think the defensive ends are the ones that you maybe notice, and Trevier did a great job marketing himself by growing his hair long. That's always a good trick. But yeah, the interior guys, they get no recognition.
DePriest and Max Balloon and Williams and the defensive tackles. Amar Johnson smoothing his way out across the 50-yard line. And about 15 on the game for Amar Johnson.
Well, you said it. I mean, smooth. It's like everyone's sitting here thinking, oh, is he going to turn it on here at some point? Look, he's gliding. It's just he's running faster than everyone else. I mean, his glide is effortless. That's how he is, and he is a very gifted athlete.
Both Amar Johnson and Isaiah Davis were over 100 yards rushing in that national championship game. And again, Johnson had the big game in the marker matchup in Fargo last year. Fake to him. Gronowski might be going down for the first time, and he gets wrapped up there on the rush and the sack by Dylan Hendricks. And that's his 4th sack of the season.
Yeah, and it was just good interior pressure. I mean, Gronowski had nowhere to go. It was a tough matchup, too. They had Morgan blocking him here, and you know, your tight ends can do so much, but it's still a tight end against a defensive lineman.
Loss of 9. And Jacks really for the first time find themselves behind the sticks now on 2nd and 19 after the big gain by Amar Johnson to start this drive. Go back to him, and he's going nowhere as Luke Wirtz.
Well, and you know, people are kind of rumbling like, what kind of call is that? Well, the kind of call that is, it's just like when you get the ball backed up and you have a little bit of time for a drive before the end of the half. You kind of run a field out play first. Let's see if we can catch him in a zone. Let's run a draw, see if we can get some yards and maybe try for it on 3rd down. Otherwise, we're safe. We'll run a safe play on 3rd down, and we'll punt because we got a really good defense.
Bison, we're not buying it. Jack's got about 2 yards, 3rd and 17. Three-man route for the Jackson, caught on the sideline, short of a first down. Great grab by Jackson Yonke, but it's going to be 4th down.
Yeah, but I mean, puts them in the situation of where they can think about it now, though. Still a long 4 here. I would suspect, yeah, it looks like they are going to punt here. Maybe they have a dummy cadence to try to draw them off sides. You know, that's where Gronowski, being the senior, you have a call for that. You get the guys up there right away on that dummy cadence, and then take the delay game if needed.
Well, the sack puts the Jacks behind the chains, and then North Dakota State with an apparent stop here as Hunter Dustman is going to come on, Jacks.
Still fourth down.
And NDSU will accept the penalty. Sometimes teams do not in this situation, but Hunter Dustman, first punt of the day. He's only had 14 punts all year, and I was talking to him this week. He said, yeah, that's weird because I had 11 punts against Iowa in the opening game last year, and he's only had 14 total so far this season. Jacks want to make sure they execute here as Jaden Price is the return man for the Bison. Signals for the fair catch at the 14-yard line. Bison with the ball back. 7 minutes to go in the third quarter. Welcome back. North Dakota State will get it here at their own 14-yard line. Today's injury report brought to you by Sanford Orthopedics and Sports Medicine. Dr. Verl Valentine with the Jackrabbits. Jacks are without a couple of corners. Miles Taylor and Stephen Arell out for this one. And those guys are the #1 backups behind Dallas Beanham and Dyshawn Gales for the Jacks. So both expected back at some point, but South Dakota State leads at 27-9, and here we go with Cam Miller and the Bison from their own 14-yard line. Give to Penu. Colby Herder, the safety, coming up and making the stop for no gain.
That's great tackle. I mean, those were the tackles the Jacks were missing that first half, those first couple drives. And you know, Coach Rogers talked about at halftime, hey, our tackling, we got to be better tackling. Well, somehow he got that coaching point across at halftime.
Barika Penu again from West Fargo Cheyenne. He's put up some numbers this year. He's got 50-plus carries. A couple of touchdown runs for the Bison. Nothing on that one, though. 2nd and 10. Back to Miller to throw. Isaiah Stalbert and couldn't quite catch up, and that is a first down for Eli Green, who showed some quicks to get the first down.
Yeah, and that's one thing that we don't see very often with Miller. I think he's a very good quick passer, meaning get the ball, set, throw, knowing where to go with the ball on those quick hitch throws. They just don't incorporate that a whole lot in their offense.
Miller 9 of 17 through the air. Jacks coming downhill on first down, and about 5 blue jerseys in on the stop on the carry. That time by Tamarick Williams.
Yeah, and they almost get so many changes with the linemen against them when they go under center because of how fearful teams are of that A-gap power. They actually lined up, checked with the sideline, are we okay to run it? They did, but the Jacks just did a great job getting off their blocks.
No gain again on first down. 2nd and 10 for Miller. Jake Lippy goes out wide right. Straight back, Miller. Quick hitter. Catch made almost, or it will be a first down on the catch by Lippy.
Yeah, and give credit to Coach Roll to say, hey, you know, last time we ran this, it was really easy. Cam looked really good. Let's do it again, because that's twice now in this drive they've done that, and they've got about 10 yards each time.
10 that time. First down, 41-yard line. Clock ticking, third quarter. Gonna pitch it back to Miller. Jason Freeman pursuing. Miller steps out of it, and he makes the connection to Nelson for a first down.
Yeah, and there's a flag too. Just a knucklehead play there. Might be two ways. You might have got someone that retaliated though too.
Tucker Large was over there. Caleb Francel and Savion Williamson for the Jacks, but we'll see what it is.
It was a great play by Miller though. Never do you want to run the flea flicker when there's a blitzing linebacker off the edge. Like don't pitch it. Oh, you pitched it.
But you were talking earlier about working with Cam Miller and how good of an athlete he is.
And it's deceptive. Like Cole Payton, you see Cole Payton, you know he's a good athlete. Cam is a little more deceptive. He kind of looks that quarterback mold, but then you see him move around and do things. You're like, oh, yeah, I see exactly what Coach Randy Hedberg's the quarterback's coach. I mean, look at his resume. He's put out some pretty good ones. And he speaks so highly of both of them.
Yeah, South Dakota State recruited Cam Miller.
Yeah.
Coming out of Solon High School in Iowa.
Yep. And then Cole Payton's an Omaha kid. Cole Payton was highly recruited by all the schools in the area too.
We'll see if this is just on South Dakota State or what.
There are 2 fouls on the play. Personal foul, unnecessary roughness, defense, number 1. After the play, unsportsmanlike conduct, offense, number 3. That's his first unsporting penalty of the game. Those penalties will offset its first down.
Yeah, so the difference is Tucker Large's was within the process of the play. That's the personal foul. Okay. Then the other one is a dead ball retaliation, where it has nothing to do with the football act itself. But you know what? I mean, it's really, his reaction is very warranted to getting body slammed. And he didn't really do anything besides just show his frustration.
Yeah,
I think the Jacks were pretty lucky. The Jacks were pretty lucky there.
SDSU catches the break, definitely. First down, though, and Miller again, little fake into the line, and then scoots his way for about 8 yards over to the sideline. Jason Freeman sees him out.
Ooh, and Herder, he let Miller get outside there. Even though there's a guy to block him, he still has to keep leverage. Keep outside, make Miller cut back inside to Bach and Tucker Large that are flying to the ball.
The lone touchdown for the Bison so far, the Miller to Zach Mathis touchdown throw right on the opening drive of the game. Miller, though, leading rusher on the season for the Bison, leading rusher in the game so far, and he keeps it again, and the Jacks see it, couldn't quite execute on the tackle as he gets by Freeman again, and another first down.
Yeah, and just as we talked about, they're doing a better job tackling. You see a couple plays here. You know, I don't know if the alignment at the beginning of that play, 2 Bison receivers were lined up nearly on the SDSU sideline, stacked on each other, and all they're trying to do is just draw Jackrabbit defenders over there. The more they can get over there, the better it is for Miller to be able to run it.
Well, they trip it up left this time, and then the tight ends flip back to the right side. Nelson back in motion. Miller going to throw. Slings it out. Rajah Nelson's got a little room. And North Dakota State picking it up in big chunks on this drive so far.
Yeah, and he had his tight end, though. Stoffel was open down the sideline. They used one tight end to go vertically down the seam. Oh, it's not Stoffel. It's Strite. Strite, 85. He goes down the sideline, and ooh, he's open. That's one Miller would like to have back when he sees that on film.
They get 8 on the play. Rajah Nelson out here on an island against Dyshawn Gales. This time Miller under pressure. Isaiah Stallbird will get a piece of this.
Well, and they you know, that Cole Payton in. Or was that Miller?
Yeah, that was
no,
Miller.
That's Miller still. Yeah, they did the deceptive thing. They put Cole Payton under center. And they motioned him out. And then they made it look like it was going to be a quarterback draw. But the Jacks defense, one, the pressure's immediate. Trevere's right there. But the DBs all stayed at home.
3rd and 7. Tipped and intercepted by Graham Spalding. Spalding broke his hand last week at South Dakota. He's got that club on the right hand, but comes down with the deflection. And another forced turnover by the Jackrabbits. Trying to get it to Nelson, and that was, I think that was Dallas Beanham, the corner. Got a hand in
Beanham
there.
gets a hand on it. Yeah, and watch him run with it. Look at, like, how many fans were saying, tuck the ball away? And people didn't, then they see the club on his hand.
Jacks have been the pick masters in the last couple of years, led the FCS with interceptions. Had 2 pick sixes in the opening game this year. And Spalding comes down with another. Amar Johnson banging into a tackler, but not until he's got 14 yards out across the 40-yard line.
This is blocked really well. I mean, Amar gets through the line, and watch this. I mean, look at that. It just hat on hat. No one even there until the free safety comes down. Amar kind of got his leg tangled up there, though.
Everybody squinting into the sun that's going down here at the south end of the stadium. Back to Isaiah Davis, trying to measure a stiff arm here against Price. And that's going to be a gain of about 8 for Davis. Yeah, there's Johnson.
Yeah, I see him getting looked at by the trainers now. He hobbled over to the bench, and they're bringing the doctor over. But this is what we were talking about earlier, Tom. I mean, if you get in this situation where the Jacks have the lead late in the game, where that offensive line has just been pounding on you all game, oof, it's difficult. We saw him take the USD Dakota. I've never heard that place so quiet as in the 3rd and 4th quarter of that game last week.
Through 3 quarters, just a South Dakota State touchdown. In this 3rd quarter, it was that flip to Jaden Yonke for the touchdown. Jackrabbit defense showing up. Go to the 4th, 27-9 South Dakota State.
This game on Midco Sports is presented by Sanford Health. Your best health starts with primary care.
Welcome back. Tom Neiman, Curtis Riggs, Midco Sports crew at Dana J. Dykehouse Stadium in Brookings. The Dakota marker matchup. Jacks 27-9 now through 3 quarters. And South Dakota State has scored 20 straight after the Bison led at 9-7 early in the 2nd quarter. 2nd and short coming up here for the Jackrabbits. Jaden Yonke's already got a couple of touchdowns on the day. Fake to Angel Johnson. Gronowski on the keep, and he's going to go backwards a yard or 2.
Yeah, they defended that very well. Looking at the stats, Tom, I mean, time of possession, actually NDSU is winning that. The 2 big glaring things, though, 3rd down conversion, 4 of 8 for SDSU, and then 2 of 10 for NDSU, and then 2 turnovers for NDSU also.
NDSU had that huge kickoff return, ended up in a blocked field goal.
Yep, that's really another turnover. Yeah.
That was Dylan Hendricks on the stop on 2nd down for North Dakota State. Jacks will try it again on 3rd and 4. Gronowski to Jackson Yonke. He's got 1st down, makes that move back to the inside, carrying tacklers inside the 30 down to the 32, and a couple of times today Jackson Yonke with plenty of yak.
Yeah, and that's that hitch play they missed earlier. Gronowski looks at his downfield progression and then just checks down, and the yards after catch, like you're saying, I mean, those are just so demoralizing for a defense. But now make that 5 of 9 3rd down conversions for SDSU.
Jacks kind of right on schedule for that. They come into the game 60% on 3rd down.
That's
first
incredible
in the country. North Dakota State's right behind them.
Well, and that means they're in a lot of 3rd and shorts.
Amar Johnson right back in there and stumbles ahead for a couple of yards. Price up on the stop.
Well, it's good to see him back in there, but it's always that first run you hold your breath on. That is he going out and not telling the doctors everything? Is he okay? But he's staying in there now, so Jackrabbit fans can, you know, take a little more of a sense of ease there now.
Jack's on the day just over 100 yards on the ground, 113 right now. Back to Johnson, and he was kept from getting outside that time.
Oof. Yeah, and John O'Brien, he just patted his chest. If he gets his block, Mar's going for a touchdown there, because the Jacks had that one dialed up against the Bison defense. They caught the Bison slanting the other way. It was well blocked. O'Brien just let the linebacker cross his face for leverage.
Luke Wirtz came shooting in there to make the stop. And it's 3rd and 6 inside the 30-yard line. Yankees Twins left. Wilde and Hines up to the right of Gronowski. Going for Griffin. Wilde right at the pylon. And it is knocked away at the last second.
Oh, and he knows that's one he should have had. He has exceptional ball skills. And he knows this is a great throw that's behind, which is really difficult to defend. And Wilde gets his hands on it, but a nice play by the DB. Watch him knock it out, punch it out right there. Oh, excellent job.
Veteran safety Cole Wisniewski on the knockaway there to break it up, and now a 45-yard attempt this time for Dustman, who has been really good from 40 yards plus. Line drive knocks it right through. He is now 6 of 8 on the year from outside of 40 yards. And the Jacks put more points up. It's 30-9 on the Ag Tegra scoreboard. QB's on the day. Cam Miller, 12 of 21. The touchdown throw to Zach Mathis. The interception that was deflected just a moment ago. And then Mark Gronowski, 12 of 17. No interceptions. Each has been sacked one time, but Gronowski leads the FCS in passing efficiency. What does that mean? What all goes into that?
Well, the biggest thing is knowing exactly what Coach Lujan is designing. Who is the defensive guy that we're reading, and then I know where to go to with the ball. And what happens is a lot of quarterbacks look at a defense, the play develops, then they try to find their cues, whereas Gronowski is so honed in, he knows immediately. His eyes are going right to that defender. Oh, you're going to drop back, then I'm going to check down. Just like we saw on that last 3rd down. And he has such a good feel for the offense that it's like having another coach on the field.
Gronowski, 18 touchdowns, 3 interceptions on the season now. So he leads the FCS in efficiency. Cam Miller's right in there at number 3. These are 2 of the best in the division. Jacks have hit on a couple of big plays, though. North Dakota State gets it back with 11:52 to go in the 4th quarter.
This game on Midco Sports is presented by Renovo Seed. Simplifying forage, cover crop, and conservation seed choices.
Just under 12 minutes to play in the Dakota Marker matchup. South Dakota State leading 30-9. And that is 23 straight points now by the Jackrabbits. Couple of touchdowns. Hunter Dustman making field goals. And the Bison now with Cam Miller. Coming back this way to Green. 4th catch of the game for Green. And some yards after as well. And now 7 Jackrabbits in on the tackle. And Green gets 9 yards out of that.
Yeah, and it's a nice job by Caleb Bronco. Watch him force it back in. This is a great job. Watch him get out there, that leverage. Make it come back inside because you have pursuit coming. That's what you want to happen. You let him get to the sideline, he's going to run for another 10 yards.
Caleb Franzel has added tons of depth to that linebacking core with Freeman and Williamson and Stahlberg. There's Franzel.
Long, really long. Haven't seen a whole lot of them, though.
Back to the air, Miller to his running back, TK Marshall. That's 4 catches on the day for Marshall as well, but not a ton of big plays in the passing game. The longest completion so far was that throw to Stuffle, the tight end back in the first half.
Well, it felt like that play, like Miller knew the whole time that I'm going to set my eyes downfield, but I know I'm going to check down to my back. This is the moment now where he's got to start to make some tight window throws and probably in the middle of the field to try to move this ball downfield in a hurry.
Bison line holds up nicely again, and Miller going to slide down right, giving the 39-yard line, gain of 4. Cam Miller, the leading rusher for the Bison thus far. He's got 66 yards on the ground. And
yeah, right there, his tight end on the right side clears out. They brought Nelson across the field on a dig route. Miller just didn't want to wait for him, though, because he opened up when he got across.
Mathis and Green and Nelson. That trips left. And again, they are the decoy. And here goes Miller across the 45-yard line and picks up a first down all the way down to the 41, just outside the 40 of South Dakota State.
Blocked really well, but it looked like there could have been a high-low. Maybe not. The running back and the O-lineman both engaged. The running back falls down. You see how he goes down, but he stays just high enough on the waist there. If he would have tried to cut block and the O-lineman sitting him high, that would have came back 15.
Freeman coming up the middle. The Bison again hold it off, and that was near the turf, but picked up and grabbed by Mathis.
Yeah, and a better job by Miller now. The pocket is clean. He had a window to run, but he knew he had to stay in there and make a throw downfield.
Jacks tried to come with Freeman there, did not get home. 3rd catch for Zach Mathis now. And the Bison on the move. Clock ticking, though. 8:45 to play. Quick again to the outside to Nelson. And that again was the linebacker, Francel, who made the tackle.
Yeah, wow, and he misses it. He kind of gives up a few more yards. Tackle him right there. Don't let him get those extra yards.
Yeah, 8 yards again on first down for the Bison. Move it into the red zone. And they have not been here for a while since their opening drives of the game. Miller looking for Nelson, but he's out of bounds by about a yard.
Yeah, you know, I'm really surprised, Tom, because the Jacks showed they were blitzing there, and they stayed in it the whole time. NDSU said, hey, we see you're blitzing, we're going to change our play, and they went to a blitz option play, you know, that quick hitting fade. Jacks just had excellent coverage on it, though.
Dallas Beanham out there in coverage. 3rd and 2 for the Bison. Lots of fullbacks and tight ends switching over to the right side. Give to Marshall for the first down. Excuse me, to Merrick Williams for the first down.
Yeah, this was a big hole here. He had plenty of space. In fact, he almost looked surprised. I mean, look at him right here. Oh, hey, a lot of room.
1st and goal, North Dakota State. South Dakota State player, I think, is Dyshawn Gales, and they will take a look at him. 1st and goal for the Bison coming up, 7:31 left. South Dakota State trying to run the table again in the Missouri Valley Football Conference. 2 to go after this one at Youngstown next Saturday. And then one more home game here in the regular season against Missouri State 2 weeks from today. Take a look at some of those scores along the way. The game at Southern Illinois was in question late in that one. And they go back to the Montana State game. And the Jacks were down in that one. Came back in the second half to stay unbeaten so far. 22 wins in a row for South Dakota State. Trying to tack on another one here in the marker game. Trying to run their win streak in this series to 4 in a row. First and goal, though, for the Bison, and Miller keeps again after the fake. Colby Herder come up and redirected him into Isaiah Stallbird.
It's a great job taking on the blocks, keeping leverage, and then having your free defender come up right there, Herder. Make that tackle. Good job.
Loss of about a yard on the play. First and goal from the 10. Flip all that tight end beef over to the right side again. And Miller looking into the corner of the end zone. Had a man there, but his receiver Nelson got twisted around a little bit and could not quite come back for the football.
Yeah, he has him open. I mean, you got to make that. Just throw it right to him. They run really it's a pick route, but and the Jacks get caught up in it. The receiver's wide open.
Just a little rub, right?
Yeah, a little rub. Rubbin's racing, right? No.
Third and goal now. Nelson and Green to the left for Cam Miller. I think the Bison got 2 plays here if they want to do that. Into the corner, Mathis goes up, and there is the big man bringing it down for the touchdown. Zach Mathis with his second of the game. And they really didn't high point it for him, but he goes up and gets it anyway.
Yeah, and it's funny, he kind of does the too short for me. That's everyone against you. But nice job. I mean, what a luxury to just kind of get it up anywhere in that vicinity. And you see what a great job he does using his hands to go get the ball.
Four grabs, 2 for touchdowns for Mathis. Bison closed the gap to 30-16. North Dakota State after this afternoon. They will host Southern Illinois next Saturday and then go to Northern Iowa to close out the regular season. Again, the Bison right now in the league are 3-2. We'll see what happens in the last 6.5 minutes here, but being 3-3 in those last 2 games are going to be pretty formidable for North Dakota State. But Southern Illinois lost at home today. South Dakota beat Southern Illinois 14-7. And Northern Iowa did have a big win over Western Illinois, who is winless in the conference.
The tough part there, though, having to play at UNI compared to the Fargo Dome, big difference. That'll be a really difficult challenge. And SIU's a very talented team, too.
No onside kick this time. Jacks were kind of up there for it, and we'll let this trickle into the end zone.
Boy,
that was a little strange, wasn't it?
Yeah,
if that stops
was
at the 1,
the most nonchalant, like the ball's going to go in the end zone with guys running full speed that I've ever seen. In fact, Coach Rouse right now is like, dude, you know that's a live ball? Because I think that was kind of the question. And Coach Rouse is telling him right now, like, hey, that thing's live right there. I'm surprised, though. I know they got 3 timeouts. You know, maybe relying just, hey, let's just get stops and get our offense back in here. Let's try to keep as much time as we can.
Jacks from the 25. Isaiah Davis behind Gronowski. Might get a heavy dose of him, but I think that is Mostart again.
Yeah, the Bison, though, they had everybody in that box. I mean, you know, the Jacks opted to compress the box. Well, Bison came right down with them, and they did a very good job making sure Davis had nowhere to go there.
I think that was Cody Heisman as well in on the stop for North Dakota State. SDSU's been limited to 118 yards on the ground so far. 90 of those by Davis. No gain on that first down play, however. Fake to Davis, got tipped at the line. He was looking for Yankee again, and Bison coming after it. Might have been Logan Kopp.
Their man here compared to when they were zone earlier. This play was ran when they were zone earlier, and there was bigger windows, more space, and the corner wasn't as compressed on Yankee. And that tip pass, that's a scary one there.
Kopp got both mitts on it. So now 3rd and 10. And we'll see if the Bison D can get a 3 and out. Davis stays in at the running back spot. Give to him again, and trickling back all the way to this side of the field. And he's to the 40-yard line, 15 on 3rd and 10. I was just trying to find him.
Yeah, and they're running this to pretty much just say, we'll take 8 yards and punt. But then this part right here, he almost stumbles his way through that, and that's what got him the first down. That's what got it. Now I think you'll see offensively they'll come out a little more attacking rather than playing not to lose, and that's kind of how they did those first 2 downs. You can see Davis kind of shaking his leg a little bit there, kind of got his foot caught.
Another 100-yard game though for Davis. 15 carries, 105 yards, and his touchdown run back in the first quarter. Right back to him, just trying to pick his way on that right side, but he's going to get no gain here. It was just a big pile with, again, Cody Heisman and those guys mucking it up on that side. Dylan Hendricks as well.
Yeah, and really good job. NDSU, they slant, and that's why that cutback's there. It's just now they're bringing down their linebackers, their safeties. Everyone is coming down in. I mean, a play action is going to be good, but you got to be careful. You start to throw, you got more chances for bad things than good things.
Lamar Johnson checks in. Morgan and Hines on either side of the line. And there you go. That was a forward pass down around the knees of Johnson. Couldn't haul it in, and it's going to be 3rd down.
Well, Luke Wirtz, I mean, he read it. He was going there. Morgan was trying to block him, but he was getting out there right away, on Lamar Johnson. So another 3rd and 10 here.
Yeah, not a real let's put this thing away effort from the Jackrabbit offense.
Really unusual one here.
Bison D standing up. Other than that gain by Davis on 3rd down. And now back to 3rd and 10. Gronowski going to go down behind the, well, no, he's not. He's going to get out across the line. He dragged a couple of players with him. Eli Mostart got there, and then Gronowski ended up getting 4 yards out of it, but it's 4th down.
Yeah, and NDSU takes quick timeout now. The one thing I've noticed with NDSU, I was going to point out, now they get pressure here, but you know what they're lacking? Usually they have that one really good defensive end, like a Spencer Wagee, or they had some even before that, the kid from, I think it was Wagner, that is in the NFL now. But they always seem to have that ringer, that guy that can really get after the quarterback when needed. They're more of a unit now rather than having that one clear guy that he's going to get to the quarterback.
Yeah, I think Tuska's the guy.
Tuska,
there, from Warner.
There you go. Yep.
Well, the D-line did it that time, and now Dussman got a quick kick into that. Bison did not even have a return man back, and this is going to trickle all the way to the 4.5-yard line. And SDSU's going to let it run his clock as long as they can.
Well, and the coaches are yelling, don't touch it. I mean, make the official have to stop this. Why would you guys want to? Yeah, NDSU really, they sold out for the block there and had no one back.
Cale Reeder down there to stop it for the Jacks. So NDSU will have it at the 4-yard line. 2 timeouts left, but just 3:40 to play. Stuffle motions across, trips left. Miller looking that way. Slinging it out inside the 10-yard line. Isaiah Stallbird over on the stop after the catch by Nelson.
Yeah, and a great job by Stallbird getting to him before he gets out of bounds, too. So that keeps that clock running.
Four catches now for Nelson. 4 for Green, 4 for Mathis, 4 for Nelson. Miller going to get the first down. Taken down by Jared DePriest.
You know, at some point, though, he's reading and going through progressions, but at some point he's got to give some of his playmakers a chance to make a play. You're just in that situation now.
Tipped, and is it picked by Jason Freeman?
Yep, it is.
He got the interception. There's a flag down. That is most likely a holding call on the Bison. We'll see who got the tip, but Freeman with the interception.
Holding. Offense, number 72. That penalty decline. Result of the play. First down, South Dakota State.
Jason Freeman with another pick against the Bison. We'll see who gets a hand on it here. I think it was DePriest, or well, it might have been Williams.
And I think they'll take a look at this because the ball kind of moves a little bit. I think he did pick it off. In film, though, his teammates are going to all be like, keep your feet and be an athlete. Yeah, I mean, there will be a lot of joking, but they'll all love him up because, hey, he just got an interception. Looks like it's good.
And now they might take a look at it.
Well, that's Coach Entz. This, you know, he's taking his time out, but he's taking it because he wants them to look at this. He's saying, you know, really, if we have any chance to win, it's got to be, you guys got to replay this. And he's pleading his argument over there. Looks like he has it secured.
It tucked it under his face mask and looked like he kept his hands under it. They called it an interception on the field.
So
did take a quick look, and the Jackrabbit offense back out on the field. Third turnover for the Bison. 2 interceptions. They lost a fumble in the first half. Davis trying to get to the corner. There's a flag down. This is going to come back, I believe. Mason McCormick was all by himself.
Holding. Offense, number 74. 10-yard penalty. Still first down.
And they get it on Greenfield.
Yeah, and I couldn't see which defender it was, but he does such a good job shooting the gap, but then fighting through the block, and that's where he gets the holding call. Most players they'll kind of just stop. Yeah, you see, he keeps fighting. Most guys just kind of stop and say, all right, you got me blocked. He does a good job fighting through it. That's what gets him the call right there.
Yeah, that was Mostard who kept the motor running. And it goes back to the 25-yard line now.
You know, the thing about that, though, is it works for and against NDSU because it just gives more time and another down now. You know, State's not worried about points. They're just worried about the clock.
Davis swallowed up, trying to make that move back to the inside.
I mean, Griffin, he got away with moving early there, right in front of the official, too. I think the coach is going to be like, hey, come over here. There's no reason for you to move. It's a run play totally away from you.
He might have got a look. He didn't get a lecture, but he got a look coming over to the sideline.
All the guys are talking to him now. Yeah, that's always the best. Your teammates are always the best judges because they're the most honest. I mean, they won't sugarcoat it.
What do you call this? Quads?
Quads.
Left?
Yeah.
It's 2nd and 20, and this is kind of the look that NDSU has given SDSU all day. Just load it up on the left side, run quarterback to the other side.
I mean, he runs out of bounds, though. Gronowski's got to at least be smart enough. Just go down. Don't take that hit.
Mostart again on the tackle. They've got him down for just 4 tackles, but Mostart's been wreaking a little havoc in there. Wisniewski's got 9 tackles to lead North Dakota State, but clock now at 1:48.
Yeah, and now you're just using clock and playing maybe for a field goal. Coach may not decide to even do that.
Gronowski going to spin it down to about the 10-yard line, taken down again by Wisniewski.
Yeah, I think now getting those yards for sure going to come in and kick field goal. Except for the last time they kicked field goal, we were talking about how NDSU, I mean, really should have blocked it. And now you see Coach Rogers saying, hey, you know what? We're just going to run it or call timeout here, let that clock run down. Yeah, and then decide. Because they may opt to say, we're just going to run another play. You got to get 2 scores with no timeout or 1 timeout left.
Yeah, that last field goal by Dustman was from 45, and he line drived it.
Yeah, he's really good. You know, it's a better feeling knowing that 3 scores compared to 2.
Dustman has made 3 field goals already today. And they will bring him out, I think, for another try here. No timeout taken.
I think he is. Yeah, they are.
We go down and look at all the numbers as we like to do. Everything's pretty close. Rushing, total yards, those kind of things, but the turnovers have been huge. 3 turnovers for North Dakota State.
Field goal. Yep, that too. You pointed that out earlier. That's been a big difference maker. And then, you know, Gronowski making those big throws and Miller just missing on those big throws.
Dustman from 26 yards this time. Into the Stiglmeyer Family Student Athletic Center that was renamed this year for Coach Day. 4th field goal of the day for Dustman. And there is the 17-point spread now at 33-16. Under a minute to play, and South Dakota State looking
that's
to get to 9-0.
That's a big field goal for the odds makers. It was 14. You know, I'm going to Al Michaels this. Hey, for some people out there, they're pretty excited about that field goal.
You could have been a little more subtle.
Yeah.
Hendo and his family enjoying things. Eric Henderson and the Jackrabbits, they start play on Monday night to get the season started against Akron, which is going to be a great matchup.
That's crazy. I mean,
yeah, college hoops is here, man.
Football season has flown by.
There is a men's-women's doubleheader at Frost Arena here on Monday night. It's a good spot to watch a game if you can get it. There at the Student Athlete Center on that balcony. So the Bison will get one more crack at it here. Under a minute to go, though. But South Dakota State going to get to 9-0 overall, 6-0 on this in the Missouri Valley Football Conference. And again, South Dakota did win today. So did Northern Iowa. So it's the Jacks at 6-0, and then South Dakota and Northern Iowa at 5-1 in conference play. And North Dakota State is going to go to 3-3 in the Valley and 6-3 overall. And again, the Bison, they'll host Southern Illinois next week and then finish up at Northern Iowa 2 weeks from today.
Big answer by USD, though. Going to Southern Illinois and getting the win there after a really tough loss.
Yeah, Coyotes had them shut out for almost the entire ball game until late. Apparently, USD knocked away a potential tying touchdown in the last seconds of that to hang on and win at 14-7. Run by Williams for about 4 yards. And now Cole Payton comes on and gets greeted with the second sack of the day for the Jacks. Quentin Hicks and Cade Tervier and Jared DePriest all in there. Hicks got there first. DePriest helps him out.
As a quarterback, you know, when those ends rush wide, you can step up. But when you get someone in those interior A-gaps, that's a nightmare for you.
There's Payton, known for his run game, but clock ticks down to 0.
You know, the two teams compete, but I think a lot of respect and a lot of kids that played against each other in high school, too.
4th win in a row in the Dakota Marker Series for South Dakota State, and they even out the all-time marker ledger at 10-10. "23 wins in a row now for South Dakota State." They hit the road, go to Youngstown next week, and then finish up here at home against Missouri State. And after North Dakota State got out to the lead in this one, it was 9-7 Bison early in the second quarter, and then South Dakota State scored 23 straight points, and they raised the rock again in 2023. That statue has been sitting in the SDSU football offices for a couple of years now, and the 4th win in the series here for the Jackrabbits, and get a lot of those 6th-year seniors in there to celebrate. "33-16 final." We will try to get a word with Jimmy Rogers and the Jacks when we return.
Thompson Vision post-game show on Midco Sports.
Welcome back to Dana J. Jackhouse Stadium. The Jacks beat the Bison 33-16. I'm with head coach Jimmy Rogers. And coach, you know, when you talk about a complete win, offense, defense, and special teams, you guys were able to block not only a PAT but also a field goal attempt as well. What can you say about just the way in which you won this game? It was really, you know, all 3 facets of the game you guys had it clicking.
Yeah, it was a team effort. That's a really good football team. They're physical and they play hard, and our guys executed. We're blessed to come out of it with the win for sure.
I know that you approach every week like you're playing, you know, the goal is 1-0, and you approach every game the same, like you just have to get the win. But playing a team like North Dakota State, you play for this trophy, the marker sits in your offices for another year. That makes it 4 in a row now. I know you don't like to, but does this one mean a little bit more to you, being, you know, beating the team who you played today?
You know, it means a lot for me, for the seniors that really gave it their best, and they carry this football team. There's no doubt about it. I want to thank the fans. Actually, you know, the marker, our guys almost forgot to run to it. They know the implications of playing this team and how hard it is, and I'm proud of the group that we have, and we're blessed to have it, blessed to have great fans, and we need to keep supporting and keep taking care of business here at home.
You scored 33 points today, but being a defensive guy, you hold that offense, which has been efficient the past few weeks, to just 16 points. What can you say about just how proud you are of your guys? It seems like every week you guys get even better on that side of the ball, and I know defense is something that, of course, you take a ton of pride in. What can you say about what your defense has been able to do against this, you know, stout Mountain Valley competition?
Yeah, I don't think we tackled well. I don't think we played our best football, but we made key plays and key moments, and we were able to create the turnovers. And if our offense keeps getting the second shots, we're pretty hard to stop.
All right, thank you very much, Coach. Still undefeated on the season. Jimmy Rogers getting it done.
All right, thank you very much, Darren. Jimmy Rogers, as usual, kind of nonplussed about the victory. David Brown, Andre Fields back in our Sioux Falls studios. You know, he kind of, you know, he's a nonchalant type of guy. He's very pragmatic about everything, but A good solid win, as Darren mentioned, in all three phases of the game, and especially in that second half when NDSU looked like they were trying to mount something. Turnovers got to them, and obviously just inefficiency and a slow-moving offense. They didn't really have that get-up speed in that second half to NDSU.
Yeah, they couldn't keep pace scoring-wise. I mean, if you look at the numbers, they're all fairly similar. So the difference maker here was the 3 turnovers that turned into points. You got a 3-score victory. So really, again, it's the third quarter for South Dakota State has been a killer for most teams. They've outscored opponents 65-7, including today. Didn't give up any points to the Bison in the third quarter. Got 7 themselves, and so that proved to be, kind of a separator. So they're really good coming out of halftime.
Absolutely. It's a 33-16 victory for South Dakota State. Let's go back to Brookings. Darren standing by with the Jaden Yonke.
All right, Jaden, 5 catches, 89 yards, 2 touchdowns. It seems like, you guys get a lot of notoriety for how you're able to run the ball. And, your running back room is real proud of that. But I don't think that the receivers get as much praise as you guys deserve. What can you say about not just yourself, but just your entire receiving core and what you're able to do on a week-to-week basis?
I think that our running back room definitely opens up the back end for us, which is awesome. We love blocking for those guys and getting them all their carries and yards, but it just means a lot. Coach getting us the ball. He knows we deserve it, which is great. We don't mind the disrespect, we just go out there and play the game that we love to play every day.
And what can you say about the defense as well? I mean, they make the job easy for you guys. They hold teams under 20 seemingly every week, and they make the job that much easier for you guys, and you guys seem to capitalize time after time. What can you say about how your offense and defense kind of play off of each other?
Yeah, absolutely. We know we have the best defense in the country. We go against them every dang day in practice, and it never gets any easier, which is great. I love the constant battle we have between our offense and defense, and when they're playing at the level they are, it makes it a lot easier on the offense, a lot of pressure off our shoulders.
Now that makes it 4 markers in a row. The trophy stays in South Dakota State for another year. I mean, just if you could speak to what that means to you and, the legacy that you've left here, 4 wins in a row against your rival. Just what does that mean to you as, your career here? I don't mean to, talk about it too soon, but, as your career kind of wraps up here, can you talk about how much that means to you to get one more win against North Dakota State?
It means everything, These games are never guaranteed. And coming in here, Dana J, sold-out crowd, and getting to beat the Bison one more time. Who knows? We might not play them again the rest of the year. So, and coming from South Dakota and being here early in 2018, we lost those guys a bunch of times in my early career here. And the way that this program has been built up from Coach Stig to now Coach Rogers, it's unbelievable, and I'm just blessed to be a part of it.
Congratulations, Jaden. Unsung heroes, the wide receivers. Send it back to the studio with Dave and Andre.
All right, thanks again, Darren. Jaden Yonke with 5 catches, 89 yards, and a couple touchdowns for the Jacks in the victory today. By the way, he mentioned the crowd, and Coach Rogers mentioned the crowd. A new Dana J. Dykehouse record, 19,431. So sold out and then some up in Brookings this afternoon. And 23 wins in a row. They even the marker series 10-10 all time. And the 17-point margin of victory, the largest SDSU has had in the regular season marker series.
And there were a lot of guys that have played in this game many, many times. We talked about that in the pregame show. There's a lot of veteran experience in this game. Yonke being one of those guys, actually 64 college games himself. So he's been around a long time, and he put his stamp on this one today with those 2 touchdowns.
Let's get a look at our highlights from this one. They are brought to you by Avera Orthopedics. Jacks had a 20-9 lead at the break, got the ball first in the second half, and as is key, they score on their first possession of the third quarter, Andre.
And Isaiah Davis, over 100 yards, but it was kind of a quiet 100. He didn't have really a huge run, but he did what he always does, which is be efficient running the football.
And then a little shovel pass, little just catch it, here you go to Jaden Yonke for a second touchdown. That made it 27-9. And then special teams on both sides of the ledger for SDSU. After that score, they gave up this big return to Raja Nelson. You thought the Bison had a little bit of life, but they could not capitalize on the ensuing drive.
Yeah, and that's just Coach Riggs alluded to that in the broadcast, saying getting a blocked field goal is essentially like a turnover. You thought they were going to have something going, and SDSU shuts it down.
Jacks would get the ball back. They'd waste a little bit of time. Couldn't quite capitalize in the end zone anymore during the game, but that defense was more than up to par in this one. They get a couple of turnovers of Cam Miller.
Yeah, and of course, you get the turnovers. They actually won that third down conversion battle that we spoke about earlier, holding the Bison to 31% on third downs. So the defense really stepped up and made it happen today.
NDSU trying to mount a comeback late. They got the passing game going. They had Miller on the ground running a little bit more, but not a real sense of urgency in the fourth quarter, down by 3 scores.
Yeah, and you gotta have that, right? You know you're gonna have three touchdowns that you need. You're gonna have to go for an onside kick, and you really needed to speed up the pace, and their offense just wasn't built around doing that.
Yeah, they get the touchdown to Zach Mathis, but that drive took 5+ minutes off the clock, only cut it to 2 possessions, and they wouldn't get anything after that. As we get a look at our final numbers, and even though they were just field goals as opposed to touchdowns, SDSU perfect on scoring opportunities in the red zone.
And I mean, that is so huge for any team. SDSU is the best at it. When they're inside the 20, it is points on the board. You can count on it.
See the rushing yards, about even, passing yards a little more in favor of SDSU. The stats aren't necessarily all that different, but the turnovers making a difference, and then just capitalizing on those turnovers especially.
Yeah, that's the key. If they get the 3 turnovers, you don't just get them, but they get points out of the turnovers, and that's usually where you get the margin of victory. And in this case, exactly that. 3 turnovers, you got a 3-score lead, ball game.
33-16 is your final. Our Vance Thompson vision, Fields of vision for the starting quarterbacks. Cam Miller, 18 of 30, so he completes about 2/3 of his passes, a little bit below what his average is on the season as far as completion percentage. And again, those short to intermediate routes working really well for Cam Miller, but just the combination of running and passing wasn't quite enough for NDSU.
It really wasn't. You can see when they got down, they tried to force the ball downfield, weren't able to make any completions on the deep side of it. And then the thing that sticks out most, those 2 interceptions.
And there's your updated Missouri Valley Conference standings. We'll go back to those in just a moment. Our field of vision from Vance Thompson vision for Mark Gronowski, 12 of 19, 213, a couple of touchdowns. Again, those intermediate routes working best. That 1 of 2 deep downfield was the first touchdown to Jaden Yankee. He needed to pass when he needed to. He ran when he needed to. Just an efficient Gronowski type of game.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, 12 of 19 means you're not really putting the ball in harm's way. No picks. So, again, he's continuing his efficiency. He made the plays that he needed to make throwing the football, and they led to a nice victory.
Those were your Vance Thompson vision, Fields of vision. Updated Missouri Valley Football Conference standings. South Dakota State remains perfect at 6-0. South Dakota and Northern Iowa both won today. Northern Iowa absolutely blasted Western Illinois, but USD a big road win, 14-7 at Southern Illinois, another ranked team. Coyotes are 7-2 on the season now. North Dakota on Midco Sports 2, they got a big win over Murray State in a game that was a little closer than maybe people expected. But now NDSU in the middle of the pack at 3-3. That 6th spot, that 6-7 spot with Southern Illinois, and wouldn't you know it, it's the Bison and the Salukis next week in Carbondale. That's going to be, or excuse me, in Fargo. That's going to be a very difficult ball game. That may determine who makes the playoffs of those 2 teams.
Yeah, I mean, for me, that's an elimination game right there. The loser of that is not having any chance at the playoffs.
So South Dakota State still remains at the top, 9-0 overall, 6-0 in Valley play. Next week, their final road game of the regular season, they are at Youngstown State. And DSU, meanwhile, as we mentioned, they are home against Southern Illinois. Both teams 3-3 in the Missouri Valley Football Conference. Thanks to our entire crew, our producer Corey Wilson, our director Joey Beltram, our technical director Toby McDonald. For all the other hardworking men and women at Midco Sports, alongside Darren Wallace, Curtis Riggs, Tom Neiman, and Andre Fields, I'm David Brown. Thanks for watching the Dakota Marker.